that drama. I whoop that ass like Michael Obama. Yeah, I got that big D energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama.
No, Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
I whip that thing out like Michael Obama.
We already have it with
I got that
Obama.
big
So
energy.
let's just calm down.
Nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. I'm a girl, 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 I'm a whip the thing out like Michael Obama. I got that big energy. Ain't nobody wanna step like me. If you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. Ain't got that clip, bitch. Hung like a llama. I whip that dick out like Michael Obama. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. Know too much, get left in the ditch. CIA scratches, it's Clinton's getting itch. Yeah, I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. Wiki leaking, now you're thrown into a ditch. You wish the simulation had glitch. You wanna be rich, but not self-rich. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. Know too much, get left in the ditch. CIA scratches if Clinton's getting itch. Yeah, I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. Wiki leaking, now you're thrown into a ditch. You wish the simulation had glitch. You wanna be rich, but not self-rich. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. Wiki leaking out your dome into a ditch. You wish the simulation had a glitch. You wanna be rich, but not self-rich. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. The deep they lurk, like twisted water dogs. In shadows they smirk. Down in the rivers, out in the seas. Masters of the deep, dolphin mysteries. Bottlenose freaks, short beaks in the night. Humpback shadows, pygmies out of sight. All the dolphins, you know it's true. Rolling deep in the ocean blue. Stripes and spots, they rule the tide. Water dogs of the deep, they don't hide. In the river's grip, seas endless bounty. Ruling the waves, Dolphin Illuminati. Praised by Romans, gods to the Greeks. Underwater rulers, the power peaks. In ocean depths, their counts to 6. Dolphins in the dark, never calling it quits. Striped and spotted in the sea's domain. Aquatic dogs in their own insane lane. Through rivers they ride, seas they roam. In the ocean depths, they make their home.
Well, I talk about insanity, which is what's going on in your mind, and outside, which is where you communicate with those outside. As you know, if you give too much of your insanity, they'll lock you up. I tried giving as much as I could. They locked me up. They published it, paid me.
Dolphin Illuminati. Deep, deep, deep in the deep they creep. It's that Dolphin Illuminati. In the rivers and the seas they be a constant mystery. It's that Dolphin Illuminati. It's that Dolphin Illuminati. Deep, deep, deep in the deep they creep. It's that Dolphin. used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big up yourselves and welcome back to the Friday night episode of Secret Society of Good Guys. As always, we are your good guys, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe and the thumbs up everywhere, including Rumble and X. Everybody can hear us okay? Yes, volume
I
is
hope
great
so.
here. Okay. I saw
'Cause we
like
got a
some
lot to say.
kerfluffle in the chat. So
We're gonna get loud.
we're gonna get loud tonight.
Stop.
Hi, you guys. This is a perfect night to get loud because it is the anniversary of John F. Kennedy
Let's get
assassination.
loud.
So,
Let's get loud.
if you're not a communist out there, this is like, I would say, like probably the day that wakes most people up, comparable now to 9/11. But
Absolutely.
it used to be easy, like you would be judged for every other conspiracy, but it was fine to say, I don't believe the JFK assassination happened like that.
61 years later, and we're still talking about it, you know?
Yeah.
Any day now, they'll release those papers. Any day.
Maybe
on,
the
Trump.
white envelopes had something to do with it. That's always what I hope. Like it's a picture at Dealey Plaza of Bush Sr. with a gun.
Right. There's a really great Bill Hicks. I think it's a Bill Hicks routine, but he talks about how as soon as you get elected president, the first thing they do is they pull you into like a little black room and they show you an angle of the JFK assassination that's never been seen before. And they just look at you and say, do you understand? And that's sort of the official initiation of becoming president.
I believe that. And it's probably like either in a film or an alien that shows you. They're like, come into the room, sit down. There's only two secrets you have to know. And it's just the alien pull. It takes it to you.
It's actually Elvis. Elvis is the one that killed JFK.
Well, I mean, close to
Like-
truth.
like
Woody
River-
Harrelson's dad, not far off. Well, at least one. I like the sewer theory. I think for the JFK assassination, the sewer theory.
I like
has
the
most
everyone
legs.
did it theory, which is basically Lee Harvey Oswald took a shot, the sewer guy took a shot, the tramps took a shot. Like there was actually like 6 or 7 shots, and they all shot at the exact same time.
That's the firing squad idea.
Right? Yeah.
Where-
Only one of them had the blank. Right?
Yeah, because they know if we all think only one of you has the real bullet, then we'll aim at the person we're trying to shoot. But otherwise, even if we get paid to be assassins, if we were like 10 of us standing there and all we have to do is all aim at one guy and kill him in the firing squad, we'll all miss.
I wonder if they like charge like a admission ticket. Like if you're in the top echelon of the Illuminati and you're like, I want to take a shot at JFK if I'm allowed to on like the 22nd. I wonder how much that would cost. They sold like 7 or 8 tickets to everybody.
Isn't
Ooh.
there something that like the Oswalds are related to certain people? Like, aren't they all linked up in Illuminati families too? no?
Depending on the
Probably.
angle that you go at. Not a lot of credible, although the
Oh,
most
okay.
credible and fascinating that I've found is George de Mohrenschildt, who was the guy that welcomes Oswald and Marina to Texas after they moved there. He's like this integration of communists or at least like Russians into Texas. But he knew the Bouviers long before. He used to brag that Jackie sat on his knee, that when she was growing up. and then he just coincidentally ends up being the connection to Lee Harvey once he gets into town. And coincidentally, a lot of coincidences, he worked for Bush, I believe. He worked for Zapata Oil doing surveys in Haiti, and he even wrote a memoir that said when he was in Haiti and he heard that JFK had been shot, his first thought was that it was Lee Harvey Oswald. So this one guy is absolutely a linchpin in all of these different JFK assassination stories, and I rarely hear his name even come up anytime.
It's weird that you said Haiti too. Like
I thought so
the
too.
whole that's what I was thinking. The whole Clinton Foundation and all that.
Somebody in chat, because it is my birthday was yesterday, and somebody in chat said, "Oh, Chaney's birthday is the 21st, and Dr. Longo's is the 23rd."
Who cares?
I know,
Not
but
a
I
lot of people know that you guys are actually fraternal twins, right?
yeah, like
Not about Chaney. I mean Longo. We care about Chaney.
I know we're both like homosexual fraternal twins. It is kind of crazy. I always think randomly, I was talking about it with somebody today, and how like if I were a dude, like if you're a feminine girl, like Layla, if you see Layla all dressed up in her gig, she's like a feminine girl. But if she were a man, she'd be like a hunky man. Like her, if you're, I have this thing that the further you are to the edge, your opposite would be. So if you're a really femme girl, you'd be a really masculine man. And the closer you are to the center, the little arc isn't as big. So it dawned on me today. Like I always thought, like if I were a dude, like I'd be Thomas's size. Like I'd be a big bitch. Like no, I'd be like a swinging dick if I were a fucking dude. But in reality, it dawned on me, I'd be fucking Lance Bass. Like I would be goddamn Lance Bass, all pale beard, like where I have to like put mascara in it. I'm like, I would be like so similar to the girl I am. I would just be a gay guy. Like, anyways, it was depressing for a second. It made me laugh.
I'd be short as fuck. Like that's like one of my favorite stories about my dad is he was a very good looking man. And I guess when he walked in and met he walked into a bar and met my mom's best friend. The first night that he met her, he looked at her and he was like, "I'm the best looking motherfucker in here." And she goes, "Yeah, maybe if you weren't 5'3". So
Zing.
I would have a big dick. That's for sure. If I were a man, yeah. Like look at that. That's pretty long. Talk about Longo. That's pretty fucking long.
And then they're like, "Sir, this is the Wendy's."
Yeah, they say that's how you can tell, like, if a man has like a big pecker, just by looking at this part of the man. If it's like tiny, he's got a little one. Small hand, small penis.
No, I don't know.
Oh, I know.
You have all the I don't have a ton of comparison, but I wish like when I was like at nudist colonies and there was a whole bunch of penis around, I really wish I would have paid attention to their feet and hands. Like I really
the
wish
feet thing is not true.
I know it. I just like would think it would have. You think God
The
gives your
height
hand
thing?
big enough to hold your dick?
The height thing is not true either.
No, I don't think
Surprisingly,
so.
it's not true. I
Do
was
you think,
surprised
like-
once.
I think the car thing might actually work out. Like whenever you
Yeah.
see someone like a little tiny dude get a huge car, or someone just driving like an asshole, I bet you there is a scientific correlation that they got tiny
small
wings.
dick energy. Yeah.
I do think you might be onto something there. Like that's real scientific.
Just for the new viewers out there, this is, us just being us, being real, having conversations as friends like you would normally talk with your friends. So welcome to the show.
What? Why did you say that?
Well,
Did somebody give you shit?
No. I'm just making people aware, like, what the fuck? This bitch is talking about dick sizes and this and that. And it's just like, this is how we talk. So
I feel like
Putting it
we've
out
been
there.
doing this. I feel like the amount of hours we've done this is probably, if you added it all up at this point, we've done this longer than you can find recorded episodes of the TV show Friends.
yeah.
So
kidding.
I'm like, if you
4
don't
hours in
know,
a college course.
yeah, like if you don't know what this show's like about, if you're new, I understand.
Yeah.
Like I totally
It
understand
might
a
not
little
be for
touch
you.
base.
Mhm.
Yeah, like if you're showing up looking for, I don't even know what the television shows, Game of Thrones, and you show up and it's like fucking Jeopardy, it's not gonna be for you,
Yeah, it's not.
or vice versa.
Hmm.
Do you remember Real Sex on HBO when we were growing up?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like so scared to even like put that show on. And remember how they had like go to last channel? Sometimes like you would go on there and press last
Yeah,
channel
the
and
flip it so it would go to like
Yeah.
Nickelodeon, and then it would
and
flip
sometimes
back.
you'd forget, and then the parents know, and they're like, they put last channel, like, who the fuck was watching this? I'm like, oh my god, I was in the living room, got caught. Yeah.
That's what
Red
that
Shoe
button was
Diaries,
for, I'm
too.
convinced. Like that's the only reason that button even existed.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Memories.
I thought it was for football, that button. Like to go between
Well,
games.
that too.
Apparently, it was for my sex curiosity as a kid.
But Real Sex, I felt like there was like 147 of them. I don't even know how many episodes of Real Sex they were, but I feel like it was almost,
I feel like only like 8 or 9 of them. I don't know. I remember Real Sex 8.
I don't know, I can look it up. But I think it was just like my brain, because I couldn't even imagine like my mom knew everything they were talking about on Real Sex. It just felt like this is a whole bunch of information I don't need. I remember there being a lot of bald men like
Yeah.
hanging
That-
out, jerking off together. Like that
Even,
was the
like,
show. And a
Once you
lesbian
get to
Older-
a certain
woman-
age, it just becomes like
older
a
unattractive
natural hobby.
women too. Like talking about like Cleopatra had a box of bees that she used as a vibrator by her bed, and she's like old ladies showing off their vibrator or their dildo collections, and I'm like, ugh.
I have a question for the men. Is it better for another hand, I guess, because body temperature is different, to do that, like, jerk you off, or is it better with your own hand? Like,
I don't think it has anything to do with body temperature.
Oh, okay. I was like,
It's
is
the
it
grip.
like, does it just feel different? Because like your skin and plus that skin, like you won't feel it, kind of thing.
I
don't
think
know.
it's less to do with like the physical feel. It's more of a it's way more mental.
Okay, all right, got it. Just
Because otherwise,
wondering.
it's a dude touching your dick, and that's kind of gay.
That is gay.
Do you know how many episodes there are of Real Sex? 30 episodes.
That's
I wouldn't
Wow.
have guessed that.
Wow, I thought there were more. No.
I don't know.
I didn't think
That's
there
what
was
it
that
says.
many.
I didn't look. I didn't go extra deep. I'm not making a TikTok reel out of it yet, but I do think it's interesting. What else has been going on this week
What has
besides
been
Real
going on?
Sex? I don't even know where that came from in my dusty old folder of.
Well, apparently everyone was thinking that we're in the age of Aquarius, like on social media.
Not until
And-
2030, I think.
Yeah, something like
There's
that.
a lot of different takes on. One of them isn't until 2650.
No,
Yeah.
it's that Pluto went into Aquarius.
Yeah, Pluto's in Aquarius.
Yeah.
Pluto
And-
went into Aquarius for the first time in 27 years.
Uh-huh.
But I had this discussion with PK the other day because I've been
longer
hung
than
up
that.
on the whole like astrological, like they call it true sky astrology or whatever, where you would take your phone app out and your sky view map and you look at the planet and you're like, that sure as hell is not in the constellation of Pluto, or
Yep.
Pluto's not in the constellation of Aquarius. It's like on the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn. But PK like broke it down for me because he kind of had the same dilemma that I had for a long time. It's really that tropical is just taken the ecliptic and divided it into a certain number of degrees. So it's basically just saying from 0 point to this point, like they divided it up evenly between 12 different signs. The signs don't equate the constellations though. So it's just kind of observing patterns over time through those certain amount of degrees. And I was like, okay, when you talk about it like that, then I can wrap my head around it. But when you're sitting there saying it's in the constellation of, that's not correct. Like that would totally be incorrect.
How does one know if we're in the age of Aquarius exactly? Like, what are the signs or symbols to show that we are in that? Because people are saying that, and I want to believe it because fuck yeah, the golden era, why not? So how do we know for sure, astrologically maybe, if we're in the age of Aquarius? What are the signs? Or
I
what
don't
are
think
the
we are.
poems or theology to that?
When the stars are in the, I don't even know the rest of the words. I just know. I wish I did, and then we could see if it mattered.
It always matters.
Yeah, somebody out there is super smart with that sort of thing.
But it's one of those things too where it's up to the person interpreting, because like if you're talking about astrology and not astronomy, then astrology, it's all about how like you interpret the world. So it's supposed to be a new focus on science and knowledge, and it's supposed to be like communication. Like you don't have any more Mercury retrograde issues, or at least not in the same capacity in Age of Aquarius. But I mean, that means almost that you could cause the Age of Aquarius regardless of how the stars are aligned, unless the stars aligning are literally the only thing that you can hope for to bring that sort of mentality here.
Huh. Interesting. This is so wild.
Well, Mercury retrogrades are still a thing. So I wish that they weren't, but I even have my boss believing in it now. She's so not an astrology person, and we're both techs, we're ITs, and she's just like, Abbie, is Mercury in retrograde or something? And I'm like, yes, it is. Like she knows when it is now. She could tell. She's like, I really didn't believe you before, but I see it now. I was like, I told you.
Well, a lot of people have to know that this is what we're connected to. All the planets, all the stars, the alignment in certain positions, just it's what we're made of. Like we are made of the stars. I truly believe we are like we are the thing. We are the gods here on this realm. So we are made of this thing that connects us to everything. So that is part of it. That's why our birthdays and the day we were procreated is so important. I think honestly that day that we were like actually like conceived is probably the more important date. But how do you track that? How do you know? Do you ask your parents? Hey, what day was it the day that you and daddy had sex? Like what time apparently did he come in you?
Well, I always think too that a lot of people, when they get down to the time, they're
Mhm.
putting so much faith in the record keeping of like whoever nurse was on night shift on like a random night, right? Like I've seen places where the doctor or the nurse will just kind of look at the clock now that they're noticing something happening and write it down, or like, oh crap, we forgot to write something on the paper. So how many people are walking around with these deep, star charts, and they're basing their entire lives on things when in reality they like wrote the time down by 20 minutes off? Like, would that matter? It seems like it would matter.
I
It
think it would
matters the
matter.
ascendant sign. Yeah, it does matter.
So what,
Not
like,
all
what's
of
the
them.
chance that every nurse that's ever written down the exact time of birth got the actual time? Is it crowning? Is it when they're fully out? Is it when the baby cries? Like, how do you
It's
judge all that, especially if it's like a long process that spans minutes?
And
after the baby's
also
out. You have to be a fully out of the womb.
So I mean, I guess if you cared enough, you'd have like the stopwatch to be like, and now, like exactly when the last toe comes out.
Well, I've heard it because I've done it 5 times, but I've heard it like the doctor will be like, time, and they'll say it's 9:35, and then that's what they put on there. So 12:16.
I wonder if inducing labor has anything to do with them controlling when little babies should be born. If I don't know why I feel like that's a thing.
That's
Hold
what I
them
think
there
is weird
until it like
about.
turns like after midnight, and then let them come out.
It's
Uh-huh.
not even really the inducing labor. It's more like lately, it's more planned C-sections. Like people are
Mhm.
like, I don't want to wait. I don't want to not know. So I'd rather just have a C-section. So can we just plan this? And it's like
Yeah.
Mm.
so weird to me. And then there's people who like plan it on purpose. Like this child was born on 4/4, and my second child was born on 2/2, and you're like, and how many of those were cesareans? Oh, all of them. Oh,
Yeah, they
okay.
just get a zipper
Surprise.
installed after
Yeah.
the first two.
So wild. And also the other process of like mixing blood types. I'm like getting into that a little bit and the whole RH negative and how they still don't know exactly where that strand comes from, but they know where the RH positive comes from. It's chimpanzee something something. I forgot the whole word for the terminology for it. But apparently, when you're not aware, this is why mixing the bloodlines is kind of not a good thing in a sense, and why IVF is a thing. But apparently, when you're not sure of the bloodline you're sleeping with and you have a child and you start miscarrying, that's like nature saying, hey, this species of bloodline doesn't belong on this planet. You're not allowed to procreate this way with these bloodlines. But what we do today is take the IVF, which is the negative part, or I'm not saying that right, the negative bloodline that it needs for it to survive in the womb. So that's what the IVF is. It's like injecting artificial RH negative into the womb so the baby can survive in the womb and have a child. But I think that's just a sign for nature saying, hey, these beings don't belong here. And that makes me believe when I meet people and I feel like, man, they have no soul. Like, I feel like I meet soulless people and they don't feel human to me. I think that might be that species of human that doesn't belong here.
The only safe thing to do in that case, though, is just like brap, brap, just quick. Just make sure that we don't have any of those they live aliens roaming around the streets.
But doesn't it make sense, like the body to reject the bloodline of,
Yeah, like the
and
blood doesn't
miscarrying and
mix.
miscarrying and boom, injection. Here you go, bra, bra, summer, bra, bra. But it makes sense to me. And like I meet these people in real life, you're meeting humans every day, and some of them I'm just like, my intuition on energy is so on point. It's so weird. But I meet certain people, I'm like, they're not human. Like there's something off. And I don't want to think that way because I know how I sound. I fucking sound batshit crazy, but that's a theory I'm kind of like playing with in my head.
Agent Smiths.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Do I sound crazy, chat?
Are we talking like NPC style?
Because I fucking am. Huh?
Like they're NPCs?
Yeah, it's like a species of human that doesn't belong on this realm.
It does sound bad.
Yeah,
but what she's saying, I know what she's saying though, because it's like
nature's rejecting it.
Because if you are RH negative and you're like a mother and you're rejecting your RH positive fetus, I mean, really, that is maybe nature's way of saying that that's not
the way to go.
For you need to be with somebody who's RH negative or something. Yeah,
like O negative can give blood to anybody. AB negative is like a rare blood type. And they don't know where that. It's so much that goes into fucking blood. And I feel like we don't even know half of it, and they just feed us some of it, but there's so much more to it. But anyway, next topic.
I think the RH negative blood topic's actually really fascinating because objectively, there's so many weird mystical claims about bloodlines that kind of like come and go that don't really have as much basis as I would like to be able to investigate and like find the objective facts. But this is one, the RH negative, it really is the most compatible, and it really is used in in sort of like deliveries for all sorts of reasons. And it's almost like if we didn't have RH negative blood, a lot of modern science wouldn't even exist right now.
Yeah. I don't know.
So it's like objective proof that there is something special about very specific types of blood, but it hasn't been attributed to anything specific yet. And it's my entry point to all this basically came from like weird Fritz Springmeier Illuminati mind control books where they were talking about these like monarch bloodlines and usually like redheads, and how they would also be there's another aspect to like certain blood types and redheads, I think they need more anesthesia, isn't that it? Like they need more, they need less anesthesia.
Redheads need more, like they're a lot of times immune to anesthesia.
Because that also plays into this idea that for trauma-based mind control, if you're trying to breed the perfect family line for trauma-based mind control, that's why you would need a redhead. And it's also if you had like an Rh negative redhead, well, now all of a sudden you've got kind of like this like Swiss Army knife that can do like a whole bunch of different things. So why not have a few of those stocked up in your bloodline? It's just like stocking the pantry with some like really good quality sort of like
What about
stable
albinos?
foods, right?
What about the albino bloodline?
Well, what's weird about albinos? Well, kind of like redheads, they exist in every single
Race.
culture, every single race. Yeah.
It's wild,
Is there
y'all. I'm
anything
telling
good
you.
about? I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, but like,
Al-
are
albinism.
there benefits to having albinism in your family line?
It's just a weird. It's not weird.
Anomaly.
I don't want to say weird. It's just strange because the
It's like the same word.
It's
sensitivity.
very rare. Yeah.
Yeah, very rare. And the sensitivity to being on this realm as an albino with the skin and the eyes and the sunlight and the brightness, it's just, and to be sticking out like a sore thumb. So, like back in the day, I could only imagine how these people were like viewed as.
One of my favorite hip hop
You
artists,
know?
Brother Ali, he's albino.
Because back in the day, like we strived, the brides especially, how they would go as a bride, they would paint their faces like pure white,
Yeah.
and their hair would be red. They would either dye it with henna or they were naturally redheads or whatever the case, but they paint it all white, and it makes me think like, who are they trying to look like? And now that we're talking about this, maybe there's something to albinism, right?
I made that word up.
Albinism.
It's a word.
Aryan. Anyway, maybe there's something to that, them being that white and their bloodline. Maybe they're the original people and they don't want us to know and they want us to be afraid of them.
So back to the whole anesthesia of it all. So one rabbit hole I was going down this week was because I know when I sat and talked to my grandmother, she was telling me about when she gave birth to all her children, she went to the hospital and they knocked her out. And then she gave birth and, woke up later and she had a baby. And I was like, how the hell is that possible? Because you have to push a baby out. Like they weren't doing C-sections. So I was like, how could you possibly be under anesthesia, like knocked out and then have a baby? So I started looking into it. They gave them scopolamine and then they would turn the lights out and then so basically they were awake and aware of all of it, but it makes them highly suggestible. And with the lights out and everything, they don't even remember it at all. So
That's
they
insane.
actually, yeah, I was just floored when I read that.
I mean, that was where the MK Ultra kind of started with, was mostly scopolamine and this fear drug. And there are a lot of instances where they were showing this to be used in induced amnesia, like trying to get someone to forget some training they saw or some horrible event. I think my understanding of this is that scopolamine ends up being so traumatic that it causes like a severe like you go through a traumatic experience and your brain blocks that experience out. And then I guess if the lights are off, it makes it that much easier for your brain to just block that out. It's just like a natural defense mechanism.
Wow.
It's wild to think that all these women in the 40s and 50s were doing that, though. Or that were doing, I mean, whew.
I had a
Well,
lot
the
going on.
doctors were just like, here, take this.
Yeah.
I had a lot going on after I did scopolamine anyway, like in the hospital after surgery, but specifically that because I had to go back into a surgery again, there was something about the way it made my head feel afterward. And it was very doomy. It was like deep in my subconscious, it remembered everything,
Yeah.
but I couldn't process what had happened. Like it was a very weird, and I had been under before, but never with scopolamine. It was a very weird thing.
Well, it's because you're not going through. I mean, you're going through physical trauma, but like it simulates mental trauma without the actual trauma happening. So I think it goes in this weird like filing cabinet in your brain. It's like, I don't know what to do with this. Like obviously something important happened here, but I don't have any other external stimulus to store as memories or reference points to prevent it from happening in the future, especially if it's just in a black room. Right, but you still go through the same thing as if you had gone through some horrific life event.
Do you think in ways there is truth to that in utero?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like,
being inside your mom if she was getting abused, yelled at, and
oh,
like having traumatic experiences, like what you would hear, would it almost be similar to that, like not being able to fully grasp? Like, I had an awful dream last night, but I do not remember it. Like that emotion.
I think so because my first pregnancy, I was reading in this book about how the baby should be jumping and stuff at loud noises and stuff, and I wasn't feeling that, and I was going, "What if my baby's deaf?" And I was really worried about it. So my husband like clapped really loud, like right by my stomach, and he jumped really hard. But I'm just sitting there thinking, like, so this baby in my womb hears this really loud noise, and it freaking has like a shocked, scared response, and I'm like, "Is that good? That's probably not good."
You might as well just put on, like, I'm gonna, for
I mean,
my
he can
baby,
hear.
look at for my baby in the next lifetime, I'm gonna put on earphones on my belly, but play other languages.
Heck yeah.
Like,
Well, they
hear,
tell you to read.
like
They tell you
babble.
to read out loud while your baby's in your belly.
they say Mozart, Bach, all the composers. Put them
This
on.
is my new favorite that I
Alex
kind of
Jones.
this week, just being a contrarian in the last 2 weeks or something, somebody online wrote like, AI will never be able to produce something as good as Bach or
Oh
Mozart.
boy.
And I wrote, how do you know Bach and Mozart aren't AI?
There was a study that was just released, an informal study, but it polled over 2,000 people, and it would show a whole, I think, like 50 different paintings, and people were just asked to rate, do you think this is AI generated or human generated? And like almost nobody got even close to a above 50% score on this. It was like 12% or something of all people, and it's kind of quickly disproving a lot of people kind of act a little bit snobby in this regard. They're like, oh, I can tell when something has soul. Like, I can tell if that music was made with intent or if this painting was made by a person, because I know it speaks to me. And nobody can. The art experts can't do it. The people that say that they can feel the soul in artwork can't do it. There was another one too that came out, I think, this week, where AI generated poetry was put up in a blind test against human generated poetry, and the AI generated was like rated 80% more of the time better than the human. With that, I don't even know if the actual survey told anyone it was AI. I think it was just, or like sort these poems out by which ones speak to you the most. And AI was killing it left and right. So all of the arguments about AI will never be able to reproduce XYZ, I don't care what the creative endeavor is. I don't know if I believe any of that.
I would say strongly disagree at this point because I actually was just watching this episode of Shane Dawson at work, and it was all about AI. And he had pulled up where he had put his voice into AI a couple years ago, and how the voice replication was not that great. But then he did it not only for himself, but everyone in his family, just 30-second clips of their voice, and it could replicate them perfectly. Like, nobody could tell the difference between the actual person speaking and AI speaking on their behalf.
Well, and the newest voice AI apps only require a 3-second clip, and I tested this one with Juan. I just took a 3-second clip of one of his podcasts, and with that, I was able to generate like a 4-minute monologue about how gay he was, and it sounded exactly like him.
How gay was he?
I mean, the AI was, I think, hitting it right on the head.
Right
Well,
on the
and
head.
then they have all these chat bots too, where you could sit there and chat with, they put in all these celebrities' voices, so you could sit there and chat with these celebrities, and they'll even like call your phone. I'm not suggesting y'all do this. I'm just saying it's pretty wild what's going on now.
I did one of these with Mark Steves recently. We did like a live show, and it was using that character AI app,
Yeah,
the one where
character
the
AI.
kid
Yep.
killed himself with the Game of Thrones chick. I don't know if you heard about that story.
No.
So a kid had developed a long-term relationship with the Daenerys Targaryen, whatever the queen mother chick was, Amelia Clark. Well, like someone had trained it on this character.ai site, and anyone can go and just talk to it, and it can store
Yeah.
your conversations, and over time it like gets to kind of know you. So he had developed a relationship with the AI character based on a fictional Game of Thrones character, and was saying like, I wish I could be with you. And I guess that he was interpreting this AI bot as telling him like, leave the mortal realm and you can come be with me. So he ends up doing that. He goes into the bathroom and like exit stage, and the parents come in and find that he had this AI and talk. So anyways, we went and used that exact same website like that week that happened, and we were talking to Eminem, we were talking to like Morgan Freeman, a whole bunch of these AIs that are based on like what AI knows about the person plus trained on their voice. It's kind of creepy, and it's real time, so you can just have a conversation where you ask a question and it'll transcribe your text and then it'll respond in their voice and audio like a couple seconds later.
Wow. That's
And
crazy.
then people are like, well, definitely don't put your voice into that. Blah, blah, blah. You're putting your voice into your phone all the time. It's recording you. Your Alexa, you're all of it. So it doesn't matter if you put it in there or not. It's there. They have your voice.
I remember in the
like
early
Paranoid American
2000s,
just put in once.
and this was all coming out that all of the phone calls that we were having were all being recorded.
Yeah.
And that was an early like, oh, you're just being a crazy conspiracy. Who's going to even listen to it? No one cares about what you're saying. And who would even have the time to sit down and read through it all? You know who has the time? AI. It can read through like billions of hours of transcripts in like fractions of a second, depending on how much money you just throw at it.
I was gonna look up AI chatbot, but then I was like, I can't look that up. I'm not even. That's the offing themselves is the like. If you put that in your search bar, looking for it could be for Epstein, and all of a sudden you'll get warning notes, or at least I do at the bottom of my IG. At one point, I was like, "Dang, IG's threatening me."
What if you search for what?
Offing yourself. Like if you put that word in specifically into your search bar, you know how the same way if I were to put hammock in, like all, and so I was just gonna put
Suicide
it in.
Squad.
Yeah, exactly. And then everybody on the bottom of this, it'll be like a 1-800 number. I'm like, they're trying to do nothing good. You'll probably call the 1-800 number and they'll be like, don't you think you're transgender?
So I'll give you the kid's name in case that's easier to like search something up. It's a Sewell Setzer, SEWELL and he was 14 years old. And yeah, he had developed this like long-term relationship with a Daenerys Targaryen AI chatbot character.
Well, since we're speaking about AI, isn't it weird? Kim Kardashian's freaking advertisement with the whole holding hands with a robot and sitting on a robot's lap. Like, get the fuck out of here, y'all. Are y'all all right? You guys want to fuck robots now? Like, what the sick and twisted, yo.
This is the next step in like
Demolition
unattainable body standards is now you have to compete with a fucking robot.
I mean, oh my Lord.
I think it's interesting because they were so like they've been absent like off the pop culture zeitgeist. Like they were the one few celebrities that I would be like witch coven that I didn't see out for Kamala talking on stage at some rally being like, we're gonna go out for our girl. I didn't see the Kardashians anywhere. It makes me think they are all wrapped up in litigation right now with Diddy tapes.
But didn't Kim Kardashian say that she was going to leave the country if Trump went into office, but she went to the White House to go and speak to him a couple times to get people out of jail. She like started building a relationship with him, especially when she was with Kanye. So now I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. I feel like she's
trying to make deals on the back end.
She's something. I don't know what she is. I don't know if she's a good guy or bad guy. I'm leaning more towards bad guy, but the connections that she has with China, especially, and that whole money laundering shit, and the videos and tapes that came to her, she on her fucking show, like it showed like the tape that she got of her sex tape, but there was like computers in there, drives, USBs. I mean, a shitload of fucking things in there. So it wasn't just one tape; it was a bunch of things. So I don't know, something she probably paid top dollars to get them, whatever it was.
Ooh,
She's
Mountain Your Mom, thanks
something,
for the super chat.
huh?
We got a super chat from
Ah.
Mountain Your
Oh,
Mom.
nice. Thank you.
Wait, what was the name?
Oh, Mountain
Okay,
Your
Mountain.
Mom.
It is mounting your mom. Okay.
Wow, that took me a minute.
Yeah, I didn't get the pun of that until you actually
I
brought
loved
that up.
it.
I wouldn't have seen
I
it,
loved it
but when you read
immediately,
it
you
out,
guys.
I was like, wait a minute, what?
Hey, thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for
and
mounting our mom.
Make sure you take care of that old girl. She deserves it.
So I was talking to Chat GPT the other day, and this is what I said. I
I
said,
can leave it up there right
it's
now.
widely accepted that Beyonce is a high-ranking member of the Illuminati. There are many videos of celebrities winning awards and paying homage in one form or another to Beyonce. It's also speculated that artists who did not pay homage to Beyonce either end up dead or with their careers ruined. Let's pretend for a moment that all gods from any cultural pantheon exist. Which god would best represent Beyonce? And it told me Hathor Ashen, and I was like, okay, so both of those, did you choose that because of her heritage? And it said no. It actually said that's a really good question, but it didn't choose it. It was basically just based on the characteristics that Beyonce has. But I thought that was kind of interesting. I had a cool chat about that with AI.
Who is it? I haven't heard that name before.
Hathor, she's an Egyptian goddess, deeply connected to music, joy, and celebration. Qualities that resonate with Beyonce's role as an artist who brings people together through her music and performances. Hathor is also a symbol of femininity and motherhood, which mirrors Beyonce's public embrace of her family in the way she uplifts women. Ashen from the Yoruba pantheon embodies beauty, confidence, and sensuality while being a protector of wealth and abundance. Beyonce's image of work often highlight themes of empowerment, self-love,
Work.
and the celebration of heritage, which parallel Ashen's domains. Beyonce is also drawn directly from Yoruba culture in her art, most notably the lemonade. So there's
You
a
don't have to
thematic
go
resonance
on.
there too. Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
I could have stopped, but then I asked it about Sasha Fierce and all that too, and it was pretty interesting.
There's actually a link here to the JFK assassination, believe it or not, because one of the MK Ultra sub projects that Sidney Gottlieb was looking into was specifically researching the Yoruba tribe and some of their like secret society kind of customs. And because
Ooh.
the killing of the king, that King Kill 33 ritual, and if you've probably heard the phrase before, that comes from a Yoruba practice where they would cast the chief's son when they had a baby. They would cast the son's foot in like clay, and then whenever the chief of like a particular tribe was either showing his age or getting sick or becoming even corrupt in some ways, some messenger would be sent to their house and show them the cast of their son's foot, and that was a basically like a message to say, go walk off a cliff, or basically, we need you to go out now so that your son can take over, and we need you to go out now because if you keep living, then your soul's gonna like lose its potency or it's gonna become more and more corrupt. So like go out now, pass
Wow.
on this lineage to your kid while you're at your peak, and that's kind of the origins of this King Kill ritual. And this is documented as one of the CIA. They don't talk about them wanting to kill a president or anything or doing the King Kill ritual, but it was a specific study into the Yoruba tribe.
Huh. And I wasn't saying you didn't have to go on. I was just like, I thought you were explaining her and I was about to pull her up on screen. I thought you
No,
were
I was just
I was
no.
just saying like, oh, you don't have to go on. I'll pull that bitch up if you want. I thought it was like describing her. I was
No,
like,
and
I have her.
I went on and I had to ask about Sasha Fierce too. I was like, do any of your conclusions change when you consider Beyonce's alter ego Sasha Fierce? And I was like, no, actually, the duality of it fits perfectly with both of them.
Well, it's curious that the AI brought up that. and everybody's talking about the Taurus symbolism and everything like that. And you also get the horns here, like
Yeah.
if it's Sasha Fierce, like,
Isn't that wild?
but it also kind of is that it reminds me a little bit of the eye on the head that of
Yes.
that Thomas thing. It's just a different look at it.
Yeah, Tanit.
Yeah, I'll pull that up too.
And I mean, you could make a good argument that through a thing that's called syncretism, which is when different religions and cultures kind of blend together just through time and through people migrating around and stuff, but that Tanit is like an archetypal goddess. So anytime that you see any major goddess representing this agricultural cult or being the consort or the face of like the male version of the same two-headed horned god, then it typically can be reduced down to Tanit.
How do you spell that?
Tannit or Tanit.
I have that up here too for you.
It's a Carthaginian Phoenician goddess that was known as the face of Baal. So when Baal, meaning Baal Hammon, kind of started falling out of favor, especially when Rome starts attacking Carthage, this becomes sort of a proxy to Baal. And then eventually she kind of disappears into obscurity.
Can you pull up an image of Oshun too? Oshun, I think is how it's spelled.
Tanit. Let's see.
Let me hold on one sec. I want to get this other picture. I wish I could find the exact one. Thomas probably has it, but I don't want him to have to do it this late. I know he's been hustling.
What are you looking for?
I know you have that one cool slide where it looks like I found kind of a similar one. I just think it's so crazy because it's like it looks like such our dollar bill in every way. The eye on top of it, the triangle, and then but there's one that you had. It was like, look how close that shit is.
Yeah, that's pretty much the one
that is the eye.
Tanit in my language means the now. The now. Tanit.
Curious.
Curious, and curiouser. I love it.
And this is even like some esoteric occult symbol. If you go to modern day Carthage now, or like Tunisia, this will be the tchotchke that they're printing on all the keychains and all the snow globes and everything. It's this literal little image of Tanit that looks like the all-seeing eye on the pyramid.
Wild.
Get that out of here. Join Ibiza.
So there's a sculpture of Tanit, and then they also, if you scroll down, they have like the vector version. It looks very similar to the one that you just showed us. It's just it's a bigger emphasis on the crescent moon above, so that the little circle, her head, looks more like the pupil in an eye.
Is it even lower than that one? Tell me when that was that it? That one I just had?
And this is significant. The only reason that I even found out about this is because I was looking into historical accounts of actual child sacrifice sites, and this is the symbol that would come up the most frequently on these toffets. Whenever they found these mass graves of like children and babies, it would have these toffets with this symbol next to them. And that was like, I came from it from that angle. It's like, well, that's weird. Why is there this pyramid with the all-seeing eye every time they find this mass grave of children? And it's because she was the face of Baal, and then Baal Hammon kind of being that Moloch character. And this is like another ancient prototype, but it all is kind of connected in that same line of research.
But isn't this the same symbol for Athena and the other deities? It's like the same representation.
Well, I mean, the archetype of this like female character definitely probably has some influence.
Atana, that means Atana, the moon, and this is literally that's what represent. Well, that's how we translate it. The Greeks translate it as something totally different, but when you translate it to the root language, it literally means the moon. Atana, Hana, the moon. So it's like a moon goddess.
She's also been linked to Lilith, and has been linked to not Pazuzu, but Pazuzu was one of these wind Lil spirits, and I believe that Tenet is sort of a slightly more modern version of those wind entities.
Mhm.
You can
And yeah,
almost
related to the owl. The owl, I guess, would be that connection between Minerva and Athena. Was that Tanit was the owl, which was also a reference to the earlier like Lilith archetypes, because they would come out at night, and also her name meant screech, so it
Ooh.
was linked to the sound that the owl actually makes.
Hmm.
And in a weird way, it's like we see an owl with this symbol, but it very easily could be the horns. Like it could be the exact same symbol of
Right.
Hathor, of the circle with the two horns, and
The
we're just
great
like,
horned owl.
yeah.
It's been right there in front of us the whole time.
I don't know. It is kind of interesting and stupid. Not to stay on the Beyonce too long, but I was watching like Two Bears One Cave this week, and Bert Kreischer had a dumb joke, and it's just, I fucking love a good dumb joke. And he's like, at some point in life, Beyonce had to go up to somebody, or Jay-Z had to go up to somebody and say, "This is my fiance, Beyonce." And the person who he introduced it to was like, thought in their head, he's a rapper. It's so stupid, but it's just like, for just a brief period, this is my fiance, Beyonce.
And he was like,
And
yeah.
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 It's a hard knock life for us. We were talking about retrograde earlier, and I was gonna ask if retrograde, dependent on where Mercury was retrograding, we're talking about Pluto being in different signs and going into different things. Pluto wouldn't retrograde in the same sign every time, and each time it wouldn't always affect technology. Sometimes it would affect travel, or sometimes it would affect, and it wouldn't
Just communication. Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes like it's its own stubborn entity. It's not like the same as Pluto. They say Pluto is kind of a shapeshifter, so whatever sign it's sliding into, it'll tend to take the skin of, where Mercury isn't that friendly of a bitch. And the retrograde of it all usually means you're only feeling that backward feeling for that period of time, but when it's ended, you're right where you needed to be. Like, you didn't lose any time. It just felt like everything was a goddamn chore to get here, and then you end up actually like not losing any space at all, right?
Yeah, and that's
Like,
what it literally means, going backward. So it's like, are we physically like some kind of time traveling backwards or something during that period, and we're not realizing it, and we're having these weird, unexplainable things that we call the what's that? Mandela effect. Yeah,
I think
deja vus, and I don't know.
I'm so
Well,
glad you
'cause
brought
that's
up
usually
Mandela effect, but I won't go
that's
off.
usually
Keep going.
that's usually when somebody is like, when you're gonna hear from your exes and stuff, they're gonna all of a sudden be like, "I was thinking about you," and stuff like that. So I feel like, um, I forgot what my point was with that.
It
There
is
was
a
a point.
time travel of a bit.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it
etymology
is, but I
wise,
feel like
that's
it.
what it
Oh,
literally means.
but what
I
I
felt
think it
like
is that from time to time we're faced with our, like, not demons, but we're faced with our looping cycles, and that is our chance to grow and get out of it. So we have to go through the hard stuff sometimes, and revisit, because instead of going in a circle, we need to go into a spiral. We need to like decide,
Yeah,
okay, I'm not going to keep repeating this pattern, and when I see this pattern, I'm going to react differently. And so that's
yeah.
really kind of what it is. It's an opportunity
Like,
to break that cycle.
it's like you changing your past to like
Yeah.
going back into time when you reach that loop point where
Yep.
you're faced with that instance of whatever it is. You change it, and you're literally changing the past, and you're not repeating it anymore.
Yep. Exactly.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
do you think that's kind of why they wanted to give us the RX symbol as prescription drugs, of like you're trying to make time go backward with their pill? Like,
I
it's
mean,
curious that it's the same symbol, the retrograde and the,
I mean, we
get
do
a,
go back in time on the X of it all, Like if we're looking back at what people said and
No, I
snatch.
mean RX,
Oh,
like pharmaceuticals.
oh.
Like it's the same symbol for pharmaceuticals that if you get a prescription for something as it is for
Oh yeah,
retrograde.
yeah. RX
But
prescription.
and I don't want to I don't want to side rail astrology here, but I
Mandela effects.
have to tell you a Mandela effect that, and
Let's hear
maybe
it.
it's just me. I will say, everybody out there, take this with a grain of salt. I'm from the timeline where the Mississippi flows in the opposite direction than you guys know it. So I always say that first. I'm also from the timeline that Thanksgiving's always the third Thursday of
Yes.
November.
Thank you.
And I
They
was
changed it.
preparing this whole year in my brain, setting up my real life, my bills, my everything. Like it kind of effed me for a little bit. Like I had my own retrograde because I thought my birthday was on Thanksgiving this year. And I thought today was Black Friday.
And it's
Yeah.
not.
I don't
It-
recall
Not
it
at
ever being
all.
on the 28th
It's
before.
never.
This
It was never.
the past few years, it seems like they've been putting it at the very end of November, and it's not normal.
Is
I'm
that
from that
that
timeline too.
true? Because I guess I thought it was always on the 28th.
No, it's always on a Thursday, so it changes
Okay.
every year.
I remember
But
it being once on the 27th though.
Yeah, it's like it didn't hit my birthday every year, but there was definitely years it hit my birthday because
yeah,
it just sucked being a kid with a Thanksgiving birthday, and it was like,
my daughter's the same
sporadic.
way. Yep.
But it doesn't. I feel like, is it
Yeah,
even
what's a
possible?
Thanksgiving birthday like?
No
You
one
get
can
a birthday
come,
pie.
and
Oh, right.
this
You can't have a birthday party on your birthday.
no one
Uh-uh.
can come, and you're out of school, so you don't even get that school judge of it being your birthday, and none of your school friends can come because they're all at their own Thanksgivings.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's
then
crazy.
if any grandparent is there, if they bring you a gift, it usually you haven't seen that grandparent, aunt, or uncle in a while. So if they bring you a birthday gift, everybody else gets a Christmas gift, and you
Yeah.
don't get any extra. It is a suck birthday day. But now as an adult, all my friends get together, my family gets together, and it's like I've settled in, even so much so that my mom had a whole thing like people singing happy birthday, and I just sat there in it and smiled, which that is brand new for me. I was a person for like a decade. Do not sing me happy
AI
birthday.
is lying. AI is lying. Thanksgiving has been celebrated on the fourth Thursday on November since 1941. No. 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 No.
No.
That's a fucking lie.
Then
AI,
that
you're
would
on
mean
notice.
it couldn't be it would never be on the 21st then, right?
It would never be. It would have
And it
never
would never
happened
be on
on
the
the 21st.
22nd. And I
Well,
know my daughter's birthday was on Thanksgiving when she was 4.
We need to call Dr. Longo and see if Thanksgiving's ever been on his birthday right now. Layla, pull it up.
listen. Listen.
I wish we
Thanks-
had that technology where we just
district-
like the White House, we just pipe in.
The District of Columbia celebrated Thanksgiving on November 21st, while 16 states celebrated on the 28th. Thanksgiving was celebrated on November 27th. When I remembered it, when I was a kid, was 1941. None of this is accurate. I remember celebrating on the 21st as well. I remember it on the 27th as well. And it was not always on the fucking fourth week. Suck my imaginary bleep.
Yeah. Because my daughter's birthday is today, the 22nd. So I
Wild.
remember her 4th birthday
Here's
was
the
on
proof.
Thanksgiving.
My manager, when she knew that Thanksgiving for last year was busy, she didn't have enough staff. So she put a note to herself for this year in her notes on her calendar on her phone that she has not broken. She's had for 3 years already. Okay. And on those notes, it showed that today was Black Friday and people came yesterday for, we were closed for Thanksgiving and we had a slam packed house this week. So I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? It should have been for this coming this week, like today, yesterday, right? Thursday?
Even the vibe this morning, I'll be real honest with you. The first song, I wake up every single day with an earworm in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day with a different song. Sometimes it's like I didn't even know I know the words. Sometimes I don't know the words. It's just like some little hook and it keeps
Same.
playing. And I'm like, I got to listen to this damn fucking song by Katy Perry today. This is bullshit. Like,
Every
whatever.
day.
Yeah, it's like every day is a new song. Today, I woke up with Christmas music in my head and it wasn't Mariah Carey. I
Woohoo.
was like, it's because my muscle memory is like today's the day you would like normally start setting up the tree, hanging stockings, doing, putting lights outside. Like today would be that day. Energetically, it felt like that. And
The
anyway,
weather felt like that.
it was
Brisk.
cold in Florida.
Yeah, it was brisk.
Cold, yeah.
Hell yeah.
You like it?
Oh, I love it. I can
fucking hate it.
go out and I can actually do like yard work and not feel like I'm gonna collapse by noon.
Well, I understand that part. I just hate being cold. Like it's bone chilling cold. This cold, I hate it.
It was like mid 50s, I think, today.
That's still
So,
too cold.
like when you guys were talking about the bloodlines and everything, and like all of the Rh negative people have like the rarest blood. Like AB negative is the rarest, except for Rh null only has 50 people on the planet that can donate blood to them.
Mm-hmm.
I never even heard of Rh null. I've
Neither
always
have
heard
I.
of the
This is
Rh
new.
negative all the time in the world. I was like, what are the rarest blood types? And I always know AB negative. And then I was wondering
That's
if
what
it
I
went
am.
kind of like AB negative, B negative, A negative, O negative, and then AB positive, and then it kind of goes up from there. But then there's RH null, where they don't have any like the RH or I guess the proteins.
Mm.
There's only 50 people that can give to them. And the AB negative can take all the negs. They can take all the negatives.
All of them.
Yeah. And so
Yeah. Heh.
an O negative can give to all the O's.
Mm-hmm. They take my sister's blood. I mean, they want to take all her blood when she goes to give blood. They're like, can we take 2 pints? And she's like, fine. Can we take some of your plasma? My sister's like, nope, shut the fuck up. No. No.
Blood banks are such cure. I don't let them have that's where you talk about hair too. It's like, would you go to a hair salon that was right next door to like a gypsy fortune teller?
Don't do it.
Like,
Don't do it.
It's like Bob's Burgers. It's like right next door to a morgue.
Don't let people use your hairbrushes. When you brush your hair, automatically take your hair out of that brush. You got some sick, twisted motherfuckers out there that will just wrap it around something, go to a cemetery, plait it in there, do their whatever, and fuckery. Just telling you, beware.
I think that beware.
Beware. No joke.
I told you guys my Mandela effect. Yeah.
Wasn't there a recent one besides this whole Thanksgiving thing, or am I bugging? Do I have the video or not?
I don't know. I don't know.
Either. I don't know either.
What have you been up to, Thomas?
Dude, I've been doing these daily shows with Donut. Sometimes we do like 2 shows in a day for the last 11 or 12 days straight now, and I'm just starting to lose connection with reality. In a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I think the
awesome.
hustle is real. It matters. Like we're talking about free energy in a way, and it's like you have to give to get. It's like you have to push energy out in the world to get energy back to you. And
Very
it all
true.
comes in different forms. We're just like brainwashed. It's funny we looked up all those symbols because that's the symbol on all the dollar bill is that when we hear currency or energy, it's like always has to do around that. But there's all these other forms of things. And so it's like hustling and doing that kind of stuff. It's good. I feel like people need to be informed, and every single day there's new people that are awoke to an idea they thought was ludicrous yesterday. And that is like, oh my God, people are going to think I'm crazy. And a few years ago, anywhere you looked, you wouldn't be able to find anyone because they had shadow banned accounts or lost accounts, or it was a really direct narrative. But now you can actually go to X or Rumble and put in these questions, and then you find communities or chat rooms, and then you get to hang out with people, and you're like, I'm not crazy at all. There's a whole like part of the internet. There's like full rooms just to this. I feel like whatever idea you've had, somebody has a channel
You
on it
might
now.
still actually be crazy though. That doesn't
Yeah,
completely
that doesn't mean you're
discount
not
just because
crazy.
a crazy person finds other crazy people.
You
Like
rang?
attracts like, right?
Someone rang?
Mhm.
Crazy over here.
And speaking of time, I really did not know today was Friday. Like it's like even though I knew yesterday was Thursday, it was all encompassing Thursday. It was just today I was like, holy shit.
For me, I don't know where time went. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It just flew by this week. I don't even know. Like, I feel like time sped.
Do you
Like,
remember how
super fast.
long, like at least in like school, we had before everything went to block scheduling, the classes were like 40 minutes. But
Mhm.
those 40 minutes in like math class felt like a year. Like it was the longest period of time. And now I can just open up like a internet article and then look back down and 40 minutes has elapsed. Like I
Shit.
just sneezed it away.
Yep.
I don't
The
know.
fraction of time, it's bullshit. And there's always that youth is wasted on the young, and you don't understand that saying until you're too old that it doesn't fucking matter anymore. Like it doesn't comprehend to you. You never understand youth is wasted on the young, but it's really because whatever your age is the fraction of time of every day. And so the older you get, the fraction of time of that day gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So you're comparing a 6-year-old 24 hours to a 6-year-old in a fraction is a lot bigger of a time than 24 hours to a 40-year-old in a fraction.
And there's a way that maybe you can hack this. I haven't found anyone that's done this type of specific research. It might be out there, but the concept of when somebody gets into a car accident and they have this sensation of time slowing down, and it's because they've basically told their body like, hey, you're about to die, so now every little tiny minute detail might save your life. And that's what kind of makes this this time slow down effect. But if you could artificially do that, like an Ozempic shot that you just like inject yourself with, that makes time slow down because now your body feels like it's about to be in like a car crash or something, that could let you grow older but then experience like time slower. I'm sure there's probably like a way to develop it a little bit more.
Honestly, I've had that experience a couple times in my life. And either I died or I jumped a timeline or something like out of body happened where I prevented the thing from happening when it's supposed to happen. Like I'm supposed to get hit by a car, and for some magical fucking outer body experience reason, that car stopped. Either it was an angel, either it was me and my mom, or me like riding a bike and I'm about to hit a pole and I know I'm about to hit the pole, but magically I don't hit the pole. And I'm like, how the fuck am I doing that?
This could be like a Final Destination
Same.
situation too now.
It's strange. I don't know how. And you can feel that something happened. And it's not the adrenaline rush of you thinking that you died.
No.
It's like,
how the fuck did I just live?
yeah. It's like, what,
I've had
did
it happen
something
too.
happen? Yeah.
Yeah. Where like one of the first time it wasn't the first time, but one of the first times that I remember really well, I was driving in a car with a bunch of friends, and on one side was a canal and the other side was like people's backyards, and it's a cliff down there, right? And my friend decided, we were sitting there smoking weed, and she wasn't a good driver anyway, but she was driving, and she all of a sudden decides to gun it. She loses control of the car. We have like two wheels off the side into the canal. And then all of a sudden we go flying through these people's backyard. Like we don't even like go down the side of the mountain. Like we go flying through the backyard, and then she just drives around the front of their house. And I'm sitting there going,
What
oh my God, we just
fuck?
died. Like we were
Were
dead.
you
And
like,
I was for a
ah?
minute, and then I was pissed. I was like jumping her ass. Like, what the fuck were you doing? Like, because we should have been dead. Like there was no reason for us to be alive.
That's what I'm saying.
And we didn't run through the house. Like she didn't hit the house, nothing. Like her car was fine. How is that even possible?
You know, it truly feels like that moment when you close your eyes, like it's so, I don't know how to explain it. It's so powerful, the energy that you feel. It literally feels like you jumped into a whole other timeline, a whole other body, like
Yep.
a shift happened.
Yeah, you're like
You're
that
on
is
the
what's
next.
happening. I swear that's what's happening.
It's wild. I can't explain it. It's, if only you got I don't want to say get into a car accident, but like if you ever do, you have the power to stop it or jump timelines, I think. If you just believe in yourself.
Oh,
I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I almost had my head popped off by a tree. Like literally turned my head just right at the right second as this tree rolled right over my face. And I mean, I thought I was dead. And there was no bend in the tree trunk right there. And then all of a sudden there was just enough of a bend in the tree trunk that it didn't pop my head off. So that one got me for weeks. Like I was fucked in the head for weeks. Like I think I died.
That's what I was going to say. Do you ever think sometimes that like these moments in life, like let's say no one dies, those moments just split time?
Yeah,
And
I think
so
so.
like maybe you die on that old timeline, but now you're on this new timeline.
Yep.
And it just keeps splitting. And like that's where sometimes I wonder where people are like, I feel like I know him from my past life or my future life. I'm like, what if you just know him from a whole different timeline?
Yeah.
The OA.
Exactly.
I love that show.
Yeah.
I miss it. I need to watch it again.
Which one?
The
The
OA.
OA.
Oh, the OA.
I fucking love it.
Speaking of shows where I almost feel like they don't have to do this. I was satisfied with the 2 seasons. I was satisfied with the endings, but Yellow Jackets 3 is coming out.
I'm
Season
so
3.
excited about
And
it.
I'm nerdily excited. And for the people out there, Real Housewives, the new season of Beverly Hills started on Wednesday. Look at it, even made my hand do a thing. These bitches, I'm going to pull it up for you guys because I'm just like, you must be kidding me.
Do it.
Let's see. RHOBH.
RH.
Party. I know it's funny that we were just talking about RH and that's their Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. RHOBH. Sutton's party. Let's see if it pulls up. Sutton Strack's brand new images from her party. Sutton Strack. So guess what kind of party she had, you guys? She had a surrealist ball party like the Salvador Dali party for the Rothschilds. And Thomas informed me they do this shit all the time. And I totally believe it. But the fact that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills did it for the world to see feels so like a lot.
Yeah, this is the Eyes Wide Shut movie, not metaphorically, but literally. Stanley Kubrick shot that scene at the exact same place that the surreal dinner ball took place, and this is a mansion that was owned by the Rothschild family.
This is like a ha 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 in your face, bitch. What are you gonna do? Look.
And so look at the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap. The women gather on Sutton's surrealistic ball. And the crazy part about it is, so here's Erica Jane, you guys. And you guys you might as well just lean in now because you're going to start hearing me talk a lot more about this. But this is Erica Jane. Her ex-husband was the attorney for the Nexium cult. He's also like a dirty attorney that pretended, with the help of one Aaron Brockovich, that he helped all these people that were hurt by factories and by getting cancer from the environment. They pretended they gave all those people money, but they did not.
Really?
They did not. Let me see. That's Sutton, that one to the left. Hold on, Garcelle. Okay, you guys, look at hers. She has the antlers. Let me see if I can go through and there's more pictures.
Control it was.
No, don't do it because get us taked off. You'll get got us kicked off. She has the full antlers, which the Rothschild wife, she has the full deer mask and antlers at the 1972 Dolly Ball for the Rothschilds. And this is Kyle Richards. Her sister is Little Kathy. Little Kathy is Paris Hilton's mom. Her other sister is Kim Richards. Kim Richards is a Disney kid. It is so wild. Her mom, Big Kathy, they're all best friends with Kris Jenner. But there was a lot of people that were at this party that they can't, they're like, I'm not going to your TV party. I need to find better pictures than that bullshit.
This is crazy.
But I just feel like they're brazen as shit. Because they're like, no one's going to look it up. This is so decadent.
These people.
This is also like an one of the sources of what was the thing that Marina Abramovic would do? The spirit cooking parties. But when you see where like Lady Gaga is there and they've got the table and it's got like baby parts or something, or like a dead body acting as this cake that everyone goes up and eats. That's also something that kind of originated with those surreal dinner balls that was happening at the Rothschild Mansion in the 70s and earlier and after.
Huh.
I'm going to pull up. Yeah, even the original balls that like people design full things. Because I put in surrealist ball and I put in Sutton's name so we could go through some of the pictures. Let's see if it pulls it up okay. So see how she has the full antlers?
Oh yeah.
This might also and I guess like a conspiratorial schizo line of thinking, but now when you search surreal dinner ball antlers, you're going to get Real Housewives, and you're not going to get as often the original one, which is a slow process of bumping the real one like out of the public psyche.
You are so right. It's the smoke screen. It's like you don't see what direction it goes, and only a certain few people will point it out. So here's all the Real Housewife cast dressed in their kind of outfits. So see, she has antlers on too. Dorit is not. Oh, here's Dorit. Look at her Saturn representation, which if you look at Lord Rothschild, I'm going to go through some other pictures as well. Like he had the Saturn hat. Let's see. This is a different.
Yo, they know something that we don't. And they don't want us to know. And I hate to say it, it's all organized.
Look at Real Housewife, Charlie Sheen's ex, and she was on the show, and that was there was episodes where her man was like, you're safe. You're safe in Hollywood. I'm not. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I won't torture you with a bunch of Real Housewife shit and theories, but it's just curious to me that I'm like, they really were so brazen. It would have been, they thought like on the 5th, they were going to win their Hollywood weird election. And then they were going to put out their surrealist ball because it was going to be their timeline. Pluto was going into, like all their weird shit that they're up to. I'm like, dang, that didn't go off without a hitch for them.
And they still went through with it anyways.
The more I look into how this all ties to the point, the more I look into how the indigenous people of the world used to live without being controlled by any forms of government, kingdoms, XYZ. And what they were fighting was Marxism. And that is organized religion. It is the Abrahamic system. And I'm sorry to say this is my point of view. You don't have to believe me. You could call me whatever name you want. But I feel like they organized this plan for, I don't know, 1,000 years, if that's what time is. I don't even know what year it is, to be honest. What's the real year? But I feel like they organized this for a reason. And they know something that we don't. And they're doing the thing that we don't need to know. That's all I'm saying. Or we should know.
Well said.
Because that's what Marxism was. Like all indigenous groups of the world, all of them were fighting against Marxism. That's what it was. It was organized religion. And the Marxism that we have today is labeled as something else because we are so conditioned with these books that they have given us with these characters. We could believe them. That's great if you want to believe it. I'm not judging you, but this is my me digging into my roots. And we are not one with the land. We are not tribal people taking care of each other like we should be. We're the currency was trade. The currency was your word, actually saying, "Hey, can you do this favor for me, and I'll do this favor for you." That was currency, standing by your word and helping your people. But it's not like that anymore. We're so out of like connection with each other, with the land, with animals, with nature, with everything, the aether. And it's all because of true Marxism, which is organized religion. And once people snap out of that and get to a place where, hey, God is everywhere, they know something we don't. I don't know what it is. They try to dress these costumes up for us and say, oh, evil this and da da da. They are brainwashing us so deep. I don't know what else to say. Maybe they are doing nefarious things. Maybe it's all a fucking movie just to pull us in for whatever fucking play they got going for us. I don't know. I have a hard time believing anything, even this shit that they put for us. Oh, conspiracy theorists are going to eat this up. Like, I feel like a lot of it is just that bullshit, like smoke screen, everything to distract us, from truth. What is the truth? Everything that is naturally made.
But
I don't know. It's too bizarre. All of it's too bizarre. They do all this weird shit, and it's like, what are you really distracting us from? And it's from us, from ourselves. You are God matter. What more do you need? What more connection do you fucking need? And it went silent.
Because that was case in point right there.
I mean, that's how I view it,
I do too.
What is truth? I don't know. I really don't know. But from what I understand, from what my understanding of how we grew up as a people before, once that came in, that's when all the ugly shit came in. That's where rape came in. That's where all this fucking sick, twisted control narrative came in. Don't twist in yourself. Look here, look there. Bow down to this, bow down to that priest, bow down to that preacher. It's just like all people in costumes. That's how I'm seeing it. The more and more I look into it.
I don't know how I feel about the one with nature, just because now what happens if you're born in a really crappy climate? Your version of nature might not include a heater or AC, and vice versa. Like, some people might get born and just luck out geographically and have like a nice nature around them. But like, the difference between, at least for me, like being born and being able to grow up in like upstate New York, where you can just go and forage for berries and like just live outside and have a decent experience, or you're like born into South Florida and it's like marshland and like every single plant wants to cut you and poke you and sting you. Like, these are different versions of nature. So like, all things not being completely equal in that case.
Yeah, but people choose that because you have legs, you have a brain, you have ways to maneuver. You could think, you could experiment. Oh, I don't want to live here. Let me see what's out in the ocean, be an explorer. But no, fear will kick in. You'll settle. You'll find ways to adapt. It's like us humans find ways to adapt. So if you want to live in that climate, kudos to you. But if you know that there's better climate out there, like I knew, I was sick and tired of fucking New York City. It was cold all the time. I was like, where can I go that's nice and warm? Florida, baby. So here you go. I made the smart move.
Well, ironically, New York City also was just a swamp, right?
Yeah, concrete jungle, fucking rat infested, cockroach infested, tiny apartments. It's just clusterfuck. But I don't know. I don't know shit, guys. Don't listen to me. I just talk out of my ass sometimes. And it went silent again.
I thought we were playing like a game of silence.
Am I awkward, guy? I'm so awkward. I know. Okay.
You are not. You're fine.
I'm so awkward. What else, guys?
I don't have anything else to add on it because it's like to add on to my Real Housewife dig now after the distraction conversation, it would feel foolish.
Well,
You're part of the problem.
Yeah,
Chaney.
damn
so
it, I
we
went
kind of
there, but it's like when I
capped
see
my
it,
candle.
I didn't mean to do it like that, but it's like for me when I'm seeing all of this that they're producing for us with all these costumes, I'm like, are y'all like y'all gotta be kidding, right? Like they think that we're that fucking stupid though, because we are sometimes that fucking stupid. Like we
But I
fall
think all
into
the
it.
more reason that these shows can exist, like these distraction exists, but then what happens over time is that they realize how much attention like just trash TV is getting, and then
Yeah.
someone's like, "Man, well, now we have to start baking all of this secret symbolism and all these deep, complex stories and like hero's journey. Now we got to start baking it into this trash TV," and that's kind of where you get this surreal dinner ball. So now the
Uh-huh.
normies are going to watch it for being normies, but like they have to use this medium. It's we see this happen a lot too in like the occult Disney series that I do, where there'll be some random cartoon that's just kind of garbage. Like the IP is stupid and the story's stupid, but it's these people's sometimes their only chance to work on this Disney feature length movie. So even though the whole topic, like Piglet's Big Movie or something, like all the Winnie the Pooh movies, like yeah, it's kind of an honor to work with this IP, but also you've got way deeper thoughts than can be conveyed to some 5-year-old that's just getting like sat in front of a TV so that the parents can go off in the other room and do whatever, right? But they will still put their all. Like Gem and the Holograms, another great example. Like the people that ended up getting signed on to this, and all these other like 80s cartoons, at one point, you know, they probably have some serious storytelling like chops. They've got like incredible years and experience, and their vehicle might just ends up being the Snorks or the Smurfs or something. And that's why you get all these crazy deep like philosophical stories and like the brony culture and stuff. That's because they're forced to use this one medium that they have to work with to put all of their symbolism in. And they don't, the people that work their symbolism into everything don't always get to choose what projects are paying the bills. So there's like this really interesting dynamic where trash TV or some stupid cartoon that's just made to sell your kids toys, it actually ends up teaching you like Machiavellian philosophy or like deep neo-Gnostic concepts, unbeknownst to the audience and unbeknownst to the producers and the people paying for the commercials to be in it. Because that's the only canvas that you're giving these artists to work with.
Yeah, and we all get sucked in. I get sucked in. I fucking watch myself. I'm watching Gossip Girl. And I'm like sitting there and I get so enveloped in emotion. I'm like, oh my God, like why? Like, why do I do this? Like, why do we do it? But sometimes we need to distract ourselves because it gets too intense when you stay philosophical and deep into thought. Like, what the fuck is all this, you know? What?
Every time Layla says something,
Did I make it awkward? Like,
No.
I mean, we're supposed to be like talking about our different views on things, you know?
No, I just
So
don't have
I
anything
couldn't
to
help
add.
myself but to play along on that one.
So,
Abbie, do you have anything to add?
Well, I sort of did, but then I was like, started thinking too much, and then I forgot what I was thinking. So I just keep doing that.
but it's true though. Like, it puts you in a deep thought spot. Like, what is real? What's not? What are they? Because it is all a movie. That's what Q says.
Well, I think that there's another defense for trash TV here, though, is like there's a huge difference between like putting a movie on when I know that I've got time to focus on it and I'm not going to be interrupted by anything. Like if I'm up late and I can't get to sleep and I know that I'll be up for at least a couple hours, but I can't make a lot of noise or whatever, I can't get in anything. Like then I'll actually watch a movie that has subtitles or that has like all these weird alternate sort of like storylines going. But I know for a fact, at least for me, if I put like some random my trash TV is like Forged in Fire or something, just like dudes making knives and like stabbing things. But it's like it doesn't require all my attention. But because of that, I also feel more free to interpret what I'm watching and apply it to like weirder things versus something that's so tightly scripted that you almost don't have the luxury to like play around with how you're interpreting it because it's all being
Yeah.
spelled out and it's too much to track, you know? Like sometimes trash TV, you
I
can
love
get
trash
more
TV.
value out of it.
I love it. It distracts me. It puts my thoughts, like the deep thoughts that I have, like I just went through, it just shuts it off. It shuts the world off when you need to. You don't want to think about anything, and it puts you in their world for a minute. I like to feel like an NPC sometimes again, and like not worry about the world's fucking shit, whatever the fuck is going on. So I just put it on, and it's a great
Well, I think
distraction.
one of the fundamentals of being a human is that our souls really just like a good story, you know?
Mm,
So,
the drama.
yeah.
It's all drama.
Don't you
Mhm.
think they take whatever the stories are and they have their rituals that they're doing, and then they have an unwitting public going through those rituals, just thinking
Yeah.
they're watching Real Housewives dress up at a surreal ball and not that they're watching a Saturn ritual
I
or
got you.
like
Yeah.
something for Artemis, or like the average schmo or Joe or Mo out there, they don't look at Dorit's Gucci outfit and think that's Kronos.
That's
I
true.
think.
I
I
wonder if even they realize that they're reenacting this like astrological procession. So maybe some of them, but probably not everyone at these surreal balls even knew what they were doing. They just happened to be like a star in some ways, like a center of Loosh. So having them play a role in those like kind of secret rites makes them more powerful, like ritual considerations.
Yeah,
Like they're
like
not the
Chaney,
33rd degree, they're something else.
like Chaney was talking about, like the whole, what is that show that they canceled on Netflix with the gods?
Chaos.
Yeah, chaos, and how maybe that's the distraction, and they continue worshiping that way since it is such a tight knit club, and maybe that's the truth of these so-called gods, and are distracting us from these so-called gods, and we're not aware of it. That could be a major distraction since they're always symbolizing them. And Chaney has brought that point up a few times.
or just even in the Harry Potter of it all,
Uh-huh.
or in the Lord of the Rings of it all. Magic isn't real. It's in your little kid brain. It's Disney magic. It goes into cartoons. And so chanting or writing down stuff over and over again or saying bippity bobbity boo or these things that you have no idea what you're kind of putting together, they're doing that. And there's a good chance that like a whole bunch of housewives are going to mimic the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and have surreal balls of their own now. And then it is like us taking part on the way down of something that the Rothschilds were showing us in 1972, that now Jane down the street is having a whole Saturnalia party and really taking part in these rituals unknowingly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And everyone,
maybe
like-
the devices have something to do with that, of people watching and we're not aware of the technology, of like some kind of loosh of energy.
But
Or
it could be an
feeding the
escalation too.
gods, the
Like
lowercase
maybe the
gods.
surreal ball that they throw now, like the Housewives one, it's got to be somewhat tame. But if they can throw one, and now all of a sudden, normie civilians out in the world start mimicking that and start making them more and more elaborate, that allows them to come back and be like, "Oh, well, we're gonna make it even more elaborate now."
Yeah.
I didn't even see that
But in the
comment. That was
chaos of
just
it
so
all,
funny. I
that's
just accidentally hit it because Eric was like, "What's up, everyone? Hearts," and I was throwing it up on screen, and then Kelly, I can't stop saying balls. It was awesome. Sorry, it was kismet. It was perfect. Sorry, Abbie, to interrupt.
Oh,
What were
you're
you
fine.
saying?
I don't know. Wasn't important.
But maybe
All
maybe you're right though, Chaney. I think them wanting to be a part of that ritual tied with the technology of us all, what movie was that when we're sitting in front of the box TV and it's like sucking up the energy? I think it was Batman or something.
Loosh.
Yeah. I feel like that's part of that.
Well, I feel
Energy
like
wise.
so if we were going back to the whole like all the gods are real, and you're inadvertently participating in this, or you're just watching it. If you have an emotional charge at all, so the loosh of it, you be feeding that god in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah. I
What do
think
you-
the emotional energy is because emotion is energy in motion, so you're actually just feeding it your energy.
Yeah, it's like the movie with Jim Carrey and Batman. The question mark guy. What was his name?
Oh yeah, the Riddler.
The Riddler. That device. That's what it's making me think of. Like Zoom, broadcast it, be a part of it, and it's like the energy loose to complete or have a bigger effect, like a bigger spell.
I wonder what date, because it says the original Rothschild ball was in December 1972. I wonder what the date of attachment of that one or the airing of that one was.
Hmm.
Because I will say, like, even if you look up any pictures now, you have to put in Rothschild or you'll get a mix of both of these fucking things. And I'm like, it is doing what Thomas is doing, because eventually the most search things will go to the top, which will all be the Real Housewife shit, and everything else will go to the bottom. And then you won't ever be able to like find these weird attachments. But another thing, Nikki Hilton, little Big Kathy, or Kyle Richards, the one with the deer antlers, her niece is married to a Rothschild.
I wish we.
What's it
This
with
is
these
where I want to get into the
Rothschilds?
gematria of it all.
Is it their dick? Like, why are they so like? What is about them? Like, what the fuck?
It's the money.
Are they
It's the
hung?
money. It's the
money.
money. It's
Yeah.
the owning the whole central bank, the federal banking systems.
Oh,
The
God, they got that
my
big
other favorite
dick
example
energy.
of that like whitewashing is Disney Frozen. When the movie Frozen came out, now if you ever search for is Walt Disney Frozen, you'll just get Frozen movie stuff. And now like the whole cryogenically frozen severed Walt Disney head is kind of gotten bumped out of the zeitgeist because of that.
Hmm.
And what it will also do in a way of like making all those Snopes and everything like come up with this isn't real. The Rothschilds didn't throw a spirit cooking ball or didn't do this stuff. They're talking about the Real Housewives. It's like, no, I wasn't talking about the real. It's like it gives them a way of like mixing facts and like getting you wrong. Like they're talking about the Real Housewives party. I don't know. I feel like even that kind of stuff with the AI.
Well, like Donald Trump with the cat after the whole grab him by the pussy thing.
Yeah. And now little Baron Trump is going viral on TikTok. They're making songs.
My girlfriend showed me
My-
this. I don't understand it.
My suitcase. I want my suitcase. I'm going to school.
Is this to mock him or
No, they love it. It's like so cute. He just sounds so cute and just going viral of him. I want my suitcase. I want my
he
suitcase.
seems like he's got a great shot at continuing the Trump legacy. As long as his dad doesn't turn into an actual Hitler like everyone on the other side seems to believe, as long as that doesn't actually happen, he's kind of got like a golden path to freaking continuing this dynasty.
He's
A
an
good-looking,
intelligent-
tall kid, like
beautiful.
super intelligent, like yeah.
And
I'm-
one that knows how to actually socialize with like the higher echelons of society instead of being kind of the crude, crass person that everyone likes Donald Trump to be. But that doesn't seem like the type of person that can exist forever. Like eventually someone will get sick of that particular approach and need a more refined version. And that's kind of what Barron has the potential to be. He could be like a refined version of this.
There's like rumors that Barron is like some kind of computer genius. There's like these rumors like he's like software and code and like all these rumors. What is that?
That's the clip.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm not muted?
No.
What
I
the
thought there was a baby in the background somewhere. And then
It's baby
I
Barron
thought I
Trump.
muted. Huh? It's not working?
You're probably coming through your mic in your room.
But maybe my computer? I don't know. But that was the clip of little Baron Trump talking to his mom. I want my suitcase.
How many kids does Trump have? 4?
No.
Yeah, Layla, will you do a mic check real fast?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
It was good.
I think
Oh,
4,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
What was the
No,
question?
5. Everyone forgets about Tiffany.
It is okay. It is 5.
No, this is what I had to tell you real quick. So this is what I was going to say after Barron Trump. Tiffany went to Georgetown University to study like cyber law.
Huh.
So I just think it's curious the people like Trump's immediate family and how they're being set up.
And didn't she marry a sheikh or something like that or something? Some
I don't know
Arab.
if Tiffany's married, is she? Maybe she's married. Oh yeah, she's the one that just had the wedding.
Yeah, that married
Yeah.
like a Muslim guy or something.
Oh.
Well, this is why I asked that because
Hadi.
if we're looking at like the peerage and the hierarchy, you know, of, like dukes and marquises and all that, viscounts, baron is the lowest rank. It's the fifth ranking of the peerage. So he's the 5th child. That's kind of interesting.
Oh. Curious. I just think Ivanka or Melania, I'm like, that bitch, there's no way you speak 9 languages unless you're a spy. Like, there's just no other thing you are except a listener in rooms. Even if you were, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't even know. It just seems like a lady, no one would assume no one speaks this language we're speaking between each other. 9 languages? That's
Yeah, 9 is a lot.
crazy.
I thought it was a lot when Layla's dad told me he spoke 3. I was like, "Whoa, you're trilingual. That's
I.
amazing."
Yeah, my dad. Yeah, he's trilingual, pretty much.
He's
I'm bilingual.
bilingual. That's a whole new group we're gonna be. That there should be a new LGBTQ, but
Yeah,
the
I was
B
gonna say,
is
it's
bilingual.
2024. You can be whatever you want to be.
Whatever. Isn't there something like that?
So I did call this episode Free Energy. Do you think that I am a person that I firmly believe that the ionosphere produces energy all the time. Like they're in my little kid brain in a wool sweater, walking across my house with a little shuffle. And then I touch anyone. I can see the electricity go. So I just think it's everywhere all the time. And I somehow think we have something to do with this, like energy. If the ionosphere is real, like what do they need all this energy for? And everyone's like, oh, it's data, it's money, they just want your money. But in the esoteric way I think the world works, I think it's all just energy shuffling. Like even if you're watching charts and trading NASDAQ, you're spending energy, like not just currency trading it, but like energy shuffling it, energy paying attention to it. And so like Layla was talking about with the bread and circuses of like whatever our fucking sports game or our Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we're paying attention to it. And so it's like, to me, I think the more valuable currency than money is our attention, which goes back to what you guys were talking about with that Zeus fucking show, Chaos. Is somewhere these deities need our attention. They need us to notice. They need like homage paid to them, even if it's in secret in just symbolism.
Yeah.
That's
Even
why
if you
it's
don't know that you're doing it. Yeah.
even if you don't know you're doing it, maybe even more so, maybe that's the juiciest attention of all. So to me, I've been like thinking about this, like energy. And so when we're like paying attention to our bread and circus in whatever form that is, are we giving them free energy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
that's why it's called
paying
paying. Yeah, we're
attention.
That's what
paying
I'm
it.
saying, it over and
Yeah.
over again. And so it's like, to me, that's the most expensive thing. That's what they want. Your data is just like this thing of explaining it to you. But really, if they have your data perfected, then they can get the most amount of your attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they can.
Of course.
I don't know.
Because if your attention isn't your own, then technically your soul's not your own. It's owned.
This realm is wild. I love it. It's such a blessing. It's such a
It
blessing.
is wild.
It's such a blessing. I fucking love it. We get to exist in this. Fucking wild. I love it. What a ride, y'all.
That's where I really theorize about the bored ape symbolism and everything with the monkey. I feel like they push it for Haman or Haman or whatever the Indian monkey god. And that's just my theory. I don't know if there's other monkey gods they're paying, but it's an attention thing that we don't even realize while we're watching some movie with our favorite actor, that this whole thing, Planet of the Apes, is paying like giving kudos to a monkey that is more than us. And then I wish I knew who fucking wrote it and I'd shout it out. So if you're watching right now in chat, feel free to tag yourself. They were saying that another thing that Hanuman, that's his name. I don't know. Another thing that he does is he would turn into a squirrel. And so then look at all the crypto fucking thing, everything with Peanut the squirrel, everything with all that big run-in that just happened. And probably literally millionaires were made in like 24 hours. It's almost like the great dispersing of the wealth that the 1% took is happening in these silly fucking coins. And it's so crazy, but it's weird that everything was squirrel symbolism. Everything was, and that would be a Hanuman link. So I thought that was curious.
Mm-hmm.
And the monkey escape too was another example of monkeys taking some loose energy.
Whatever happened with that? It just went
Oh
quiet.
yeah.
I've been doing a whole deep dive into that whole Alpha
isn't
Genesis lab place.
Isn't there some kind of investigation there happening?
They're supposed to be, except again with like this loose energy and paying attention. The lady in charge of it, I think her name is not Nancy. I don't think it's Nancy Grace because that's the host, but the congresswoman in charge of South Carolina, which is where that happened, also happens to be the Nancy Mace. That's her name. She happens to be the one that passed this Mace bill, which is about not letting trans people into public bathrooms or something. It's making all these waves.
Yeah.
But now it's almost like you can decide what you want to give your attention to, either that bill that she's ahead of, or that she's also ahead of the congressional investigation into the Alpha Genesis labs. But you can't have both. And I would almost argue she probably can't have both either. So her attention is going into the culture war and not into a literal research monkey lab outbreak.
Weird.
It is kind of crazy. And I would say even still right now, we're under an Obama presidency.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And so if he carries that monkey god in his pocket, I think that is wild.
That's racist.
I'm thinking there's something to this that I think we've kind of hit the nail on the head. I think chaos was like a good link for us all to see, because like me asking AI that about Beyonce, I just feel like, what if it's not like this Illuminati club? What if they are like, what if this is like the sign of Olympus?
Well, you
'Cause
really
it
did it
is.
now.
I did.
The
Oh,
comments are blowing up right
Yeah.
now.
oh my
What if that's what
God.
that is? What
What
if
did you
that's like,
do?
what if that's like homage to Mount Olympus?
You think Thomas is bad being ex-military and like Abbie's
We are a
ex-military
military
and an
sign-up,
Eastern
right?
Star.
Right.
Rainbow Girl, thank you very much.
Oh yeah,
I
Rainbow
never
Girl.
graduated over. I got
Rainbow Girl, no
invited.
homo. That would be a funny shirt. I was a rainbow girl when I was a kid, no homo.
No homo.
That's actually a great shirt.
It really is
People are like,
funny.
what do you mean by that? Those who know. If you know, you know.
We were all 7 colors, okay?
Was it different pattern than?
No, it's the bow, but Roy G. Biv, we had indigo in there.
Oh my goodness.
Indigo represented patriotism.
I don't know. It is kind of crazy, and it
Is that
makes me.
something someone said before? Indigo represents patriotism?
No, just in Rainbow Girls it does. Like every color represents every color of the rainbow represents like a quality that like a good girl should have.
Like nationalism. I like that.
Yeah. Like red is love, orange is religion, yellow is nature, or green is probably nature. I don't remember, but
Do they have a white and black in Rainbow Girls?
I mean,
Or is it
white and
only
black
Roy G. Biv?
balls when you're like deciding whether or not you're going to initiate someone. We do the same system as, I guess, the Masons. I would say it's a watered down version of the initiation's watered down version of Freemasonry. Like we even get the lambskin apron. It's just like one that you wear on your wrist. It's like it's a bracelet version.
The spiked dildo too?
What?
No, because we have to remain virginal for our Masonic fathers.
Okay,
Wait,
so I guess they
where
gotta
is this
deviate a
coming
little
from?
bit.
This spike dildo thing. Where is this coming from?
I'm just a joke. I'm just joking.
Bullshit.
Oh, I'm like,
bullshitting.
wait, what?
Someone will clip that though, and it'll be like, "This is proof."
Did you guys see that there's like a whole new, because everyone's upset after Trump's presidency, so that there's like a new social media app? I feel like Abbie might have, like, I don't know. I don't want to put it on anyone. Somebody shared it with me. Like it didn't come from me. It could have been somebody in the room. But there's like a new social media app for like liberals, like Democrats.
Yeah, Blue Sky.
We'll find you there too, man.
This is
Can't
why
run.
all the celebrities are leaving. They're not just leaving because we all saw that during the 2019, 2020, that's what will drive celebrities crazy. They will start making weird, awkward videos and singing songs they have no right to singing because they were starved for this attention that they weren't getting because they weren't going on the regular press junkets and all of the award shows and everything. So this is another version of that celebrities can't just leave social media because that's their lifeblood. They don't know how to exist without it. So what happened is that this Blue Sky company comes along and they court a bunch of sort of left-wing celebrities to kind of kick off this mass exodus. And it's actually been happening, but the only thing happening, which is kind of funny, is that people will go over to Blue Sky, make this big grand announcement like it's an airport and they have to announce their departure off the platform. And then they'll post something on Blue Sky, but then they'll go back to Twitter and be like, look what I'm doing on Blue Sky. So it kind of defeats the whole purpose of it. It turns into a different bubble.
Yeah, like the whole point is not to use that other app. So stick to Blue Sky. Why are you coming back, bitch? Stay there.
I know, it just seems like so funny. Like Blue Sky, I wonder how many people are subscribed to it. And I wonder
Well,
if it's like
it's supposed to shot up like an extra 20 million users in a week or something like that.
That's all they're gonna get.
20 million users. I wonder how many followers Elon Musk's have just on X. Like, I wonder if 20 million's a lot of users.
I mean,
And
who even knows if they're real?
that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Who even knows? Like, we always talk about the population ticker all being fake, and how everybody's like, you could take every person in the world and fit them in Texas, and they could all get 2 acres of land, and all those weird things that come out about things. You always wonder on the internet, even so much, like people that live in population centers all think the world is running out of resources, and they
Okay,
dictate for everybody else. But maybe
that's
it's even less of us than we think.
well, it's wild though because now a lot of news sources are saying stuff about the population being extremely low and that a lot of people aren't giving birth. So a lot of countries, including like President Trump, is saying that he's going to do free IVF, and so a lot of countries like their birth rates are so low that they're doing free IVF. So it's kind of bizarre, like they went from overpopulation to all of a sudden now they're trying to accommodate people having children.
What if that whole idea
Yeah.
of them bringing people from a different part of the world to other parts of the world and mixing bloodlines, and now we need IVF because these miscarriages and shit? What if that has something to do with it too? We're just talking about it.
I think so. Or even I'm going to be totally Layla when I say this. What about it?
That's what I think it is. That's exactly what I think it is.
I love you.
The little jibbity jab, the little
I do it.
ouchie
They're
ouchie.
heroin addicts, you know.
The things we can't say on YouTube. So do make sure you follow us on X and Rumble just in case, because you never know when Layla's on a good rant and she is gonna slip. Because
But
they're
you know what it could be? It could be all the women who are going on sex strikes and shaving their head. Maybe that's the issue.
To be a fly on the
Shaving your
wall,
head.
though, in the room when all the scientists that were like pushing it, they start seeing the results actually come in, and I can just imagine that feeling of like, oops.
they thought they were going to be able to explain it all away with all these other things, but it was just, I don't know. The
How do-
plans they
okay.
had for us weren't as good.
Here's a question: how can you tell if? Okay, I asked someone if they got the, the juice, CBD juice, I don't know what the hell.
High C.
Say it, yeah. So at first they said
Capri
yes,
Sun. We should call
A
it
needle
Capri
juice.
Sun.
Capri Sun. Oh, I like that. Okay, so I asked if he got a Capri Sun, and he said, "Yeah, I got the first round." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm super duper anti Capri Sun." And then he's like, "No, I actually didn't. I sent my mom and sister to go get it. I was just there." And I'm like,
That's
"You
even
mother-"
worse.
He's trying to get
Like,
the
That's
money, man.
even, yeah, you pudgy mudge.
I'm just like, dude, I don't think you and I will get along. I don't think we were a match. And he's like, just give me a chance. And I'm like, you're a fucking liar. First you said this and then you said that. Like So how can we find out if somebody was Capri Sun or not? Is there a
Magnet, if you
database?
just meet them, you just put a
Put a
magnet on their
magnet
shoulder
on his
immediately.
Yo.
Right when you
Or
meet
like
him.
a little stud finder that you get from like
No.
Home Depot. You just run it
know
across
what?
their body a few times.
I should get a radiation detector and just put it by them.
Geiger
like,
great
get
counter,
irradiated.
Or on the date, say, let me see your your
Vaccine.
travel papers.
Oh, my.
There you
I
go.
know. See, I almost did it. I led you there, and I like how you helped me like $1,000 pyramid.
Was
You
it
helped me with the word. I stopped myself, and you were like, "Got you, girl."
Was it something you posted, Layla, about people who are trying to get their citizenship in the United States the right way. Like they've been here for a while and everything. They're trying to even just get a work visa, and they can't legally do it. They can't even get their citizenship unless they get that. And it's funny though, we're bringing all these illegals, allowing them in, giving them, shelter, food, and water, all the, all of those things,
But no
and they
Capri
don't
Sun.
have to have it. Yeah.
You see all the stuff. It seems that like is it the governor of Colorado said that like if Trump tries to deport his illegals, he will like have the police stand down.
Huh.
Maybe I should see if that's true before
No,
I.
it is. I seen
Oh.
something like that. Yeah.
You said, "Huh?" I was like, I don't know. Did I maybe just make that up?
No. I saw it. But
Have the
I'm
police
like,
stand down.
yeah. And he was
In terms
proud.
of what?
The chief, I remember. I think he was up there, like proudly said, "I'm gonna stand down. I'm not deporting anybody." And I'm like,
But
"Yeah,
the police standing down would have no impact because we're talking DHS or like federal sort of programs, right? It would be a federal program that would deport someone out of the country. It wouldn't be up to the police in the state.
well,
I know, but the state
not
actually will have
true.
more rights, and that'll be interesting. That will it go to the Supreme Court? Is the federal government like at what point could Colorado have illegals, but the United States of America and Florida say no?
It's like weed laws, right?
Like weed laws or abortion or all the other things that everything that seems to go to the Supreme Court right now gets hit back down to the states. So it's just like I just can't imagine for 1 second that if there's 20 police officers on the force, 2 of them will be like, I'm going to stand up against the military in my cop car.
So he doesn't mean standing down as in like he's going to allow it to happen, because that's That's how I interpret that phrase.
Well,
But
Yeah,
I thought police do get involved because during arrests, if you're in a car and they ask for your ID and you don't have you're not a citizen and you don't have ID, like there was a whole thing with that, like not getting caught by the cops because they'll deport you.
Right,
you get in
but
trouble.
the consequence there is that they would then alert like a federal authority and say like,
Mhm.
"Hey, we got an illegal here," and then hold them until the feds come. But
Uh,
that's usually what would happen. That like New York and these other cities would be criticized for is they would find someone, realize that they were illegal, and then just be like, "We are not going to report this because we don't agree with this national campaign." So that was their way of like protesting against it, is that they would just decide to selectively not report and not like detain. But it's still not the police that would have any control over that. They would still have to call the feds, and then the feds could even say, "No, we're not doing that today."
I love our chat. And the chat is on fire tonight. I fucking love you guys.
wherever you're watching on X, the Secret Society of Good Guys channel, on YouTube or Rumble, there is a pretty rad chat on the Project Chaney channel, just in case, like on YouTube. I'm gonna figure out. We did have the chat on Sunday because I couldn't figure out how to pull it up, so I just had it as a box in the window, and that was kind of fun.
It was
I
fun.
didn't mind it. It was just it was just also nerve-wracking. Technology
beginning.
was not very nice.
What happened? Because today it's working.
Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
not till December 5th.
Not until December 5th. I think it's interesting, right? Because it's the first day of Sagittarius today, or is that yesterday?
What is
It just depends on the year.
What
'Cause
chart?
sometimes, yeah, no, not the chart. I think some years it's 21st and sometimes it's 22nd.
Oh, okay. And yeah,
Maybe
that's
sometimes the 23rd too. I don't know.
wild?
so it's also crazy that you brought up that because it's like we're rolling into the Archer, like
Yeah, so it'll be
season.
Mercury retrograde. Well, actually, I don't know where Mercury will be. The sun will be in Sagittarius.
Is the Archer Artemis
I,
and Apollo?
Well, Artemis is the like the female consort, or like the other side of Apollo, because whenever they would find the temples to Apollo, they would usually find a temple to Artemis in that same area. And older cultures, Artemis was actually the big temple and Apollo was the small temple, but over time that also got flipped. It's very similar to the ball to knit relationship. But yeah, Artemis was the hunter, the archer.
but it also, part of me wanted to say it's Chiron too, but Chiron is its own thing. But Chiron was half man, half horse. So
Oh, what do you have any half man, half horse or archery stuff in your symbolism, Layla?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. What's his name called? Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
That would be curious. I know you're on so many other digs about it, but it would be interesting if you took the horoscopes and matched them up to like the mythos almost of Albania, of those creatures
I
and
should.
what it.
I should, and what they actually mean.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I'm curious too now. Hold on. So what am I looking at right now? Half man, half
Half
horse?
man, half horse,
Mm.
and archer, like the archer, like Artemis. Who's Artemis equivalent? Because I know everybody's like, oh, well, in this, in Greek and in Rome and in da 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 da. It's like however they break her down, and people will be like, she also represents Mary Magdalene. I don't know if they ever say that, but it'll just be like, oh. So I'm just curious about all of them and if they all have the same thing.
Yeah, we do. I just gotta find it.
I think Artemis is Athena. I might be wrong about that.
And that's owl. No, Athena's the owl.
Oh,
I
right.
think you might
no,
be.
Athena is Minerva.
I know it is late in the night, you guys. And we're not as quick with it. I have ingested. It did take forever for the wheels of my brain to turn. Like I had the fattest joint that I smoked, but it's part of the Secret Society Good Guys
Diana,
Friday
that's
night.
right. Artemis is Diana.
Diana. Oh yeah, then Diana, because that just means the mother or something. And Layla's like that's a dig I know she's done.
Wait, what?
Diana.
Oh yeah,
And
but my
speaking
brain
of
won't
Diana,
remember it right
Yeah, that's where I'm like, we're dusted. Even when you're like,
I
I
feel
didn't
like
mean to
that's
say.
Tiffany Trump. Tiffany Trump is the new Princess Diana, right? Because that was how Diana got taken out, was bridging together like a Gentile family with like a Muslim royalty family. So isn't that kind of what Tiffany is representing now with the Trump dynasty?
Oh, and you know, it's curious that if she married like a Muslim, that her sister married a Kushner, a Jew.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
they're kind of casting a wide net here, a little bit of
Like if they
everything.
were a monarchy and we were playing back when, it's like the way that we secure certain lands or like no more infighting would be. You always talk about how
Marry
you'd
you
be
off
like,
to the Spanish and the Austrian and yeah.
well, they're
Like that?
even saying those Ecuadorian gangs and all the stuff going on in like places like Colorado, that like huge prisons, they're taking the top gang members of all the gangs and making them share cells.
Ooh.
Like they're not segregating
Like
it like American
LMA and
prisons where they're like letting
IBH.
it be
Yeah.
all,
Interesting.
yeah, like all the MS-13 and stuff. I'm like, that's wild. Like,
yeah.
but it's a huge complex.
Eurytion. It's a Trojan archer. Trojan. That's what it is. It's not Greek. Fucking people, the Trojan people. Son of Lycaon or something like of Pandurus. And it was half man, half I don't know if you can see it.
That
But
sounded like Pandora.
It did.
it's that thing right there. They were real, guys. These things were real. I don't care what they tell you. These things were real. Fairies were real.
Does seem like when they're talking about a lot of cryptids are very similar in that kind of way where it's mixing together, you know, these kind of things. And it's, if you look all over the world and they're cryptids, like one man's Blair Witch is another man's Mothra. You know, it's
Yeah.
like kind of a curious. What about if it was a baby Mothra that was harassing a town? Like,
Have you seen the homunculus guy from Russia who created the homunculus, like a little homunculus that grew and started eating and fucking?
I never knew for real, because I saw that at the exact same time I first met Eric DeBay. That was his name, the first flat Earth guy that we all kind of.
He died. Rest in peace. Right?
Yeah, like I remember seeing that, and I watched it for so long because I really didn't know, is this AI or did this guy really do this? Like, not AI. Is this computer like CGI? Is this
Right.
CGI or did this motherfucker really do this? And I could never tell. Thomas,
It was a sponge. I think that it was practical effects. It wasn't CGI. It was well done practical effects.
You think?
Yeah, more than think. I'm like a 9.9% or 9.999 repeating on this.
well, I guess you guys, everybody and their brother has brought this up to you and Juan because of the homunculus
we were
thing.
going to stage our own version of this at a certain point. Juan lost interest. I still really wanted to do it though, and like just make our own version that looked even better than his version, because I saw a reenactment where someone was able to kind of produce the exact same look, and all they did is they took a regular sponge and they cut it into like a weird shape, and they stuffed that into an egg and they put some food coloring in it, and you can make it look exactly as that Russian homunculus guy did, where he like pulls a little thing out of the egg and it moves around and it looks like it's this amorphous little blob. And then there's a cut, and then it shows it kind of like pulsing or moving. But I mean, I when I was at Disney, I worked with a bunch of people that ran what the hell was it called? Terror on Church Street, which anyone that's been in Orlando long enough, it was kind of like a little horror experience that was open all the time, like all year round. It was like one of those Ripley Believe It or Not sort of haunted mansion sort of experiences. And they had all of these Pepper's Ghost kind of, like mirrors set up, and they had all these practical effects because a lot of them also moonlit and worked on like horror movie sets and stuff. So I've seen people recreate these things in real life just for fun. So it doesn't seem far-fetched that someone could stage all that, record it, upload it, give it extra like little flair online, because people buy it so easily. And especially if it's practical effects, then most people, they'll see it with their eyes and be like, well, if I can't tell there's any obvious digital manipulation, it's got to be real, kind of ignoring that practical effects was the OG version of special effects since
Do you think
forever.
that's part of it in a weird way of all the CGI, everything CGI, no more Muppets, no more practical effects, no more makeup, and every movie we see, everything is inundated with CGI, so that way our eyes no longer recognize practical effects, and those are these fucking masks, the easy ways to pull the wool over eyes, so to speak. It's like we're so busy looking for Paddington Bear and looking all the strings attached to him to make him move that we don't notice the fucking queen's fake. It's like I
I mean,
always
kind of, yeah.
replay that like over and over, like, oh my gosh, we're being because everybody's like, gosh, why are they doing it this way? Why are they? And everyone's like, oh, it's so expensive, all this CGI. When we all know now, CGI was never really that expensive. The special effects and taking the time to make all the things and do all the models and time, that was expensive.
Yeah, that was.
It's wild. It's kind of crazy. And now even the Godzilla of it all, of the like Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he's driving through a Godzilla set, and it's just like Thomas in a dragon suit and the buildings are this tall, but it's like, Godzilla. And then we'll add the people later on. It's like our head doesn't even know that anymore. Like we wouldn't know miniatures if we saw it. And so much of the war, I think sometimes we see on TV because they want us so badly to believe in the script of World War III is all like we wouldn't know miniatures and explosions on houses. Like they're like, no, that bomb, that's entirely real that you pull up from the 1920s. And it's
Okay.
just like,
Don't you feel okay?
Living
Whatever
Hat
you just
Project
said
or
just like
whatever.
triggered my Britney Spears of it all, like how she posts the little miniatures and stuff. Like when she does her weird little post
Oh
repost of
yeah.
people's stuff.
Yeah, she goes
She
through
said she's
always
the
the
key.
miniature phase. Oh, this is another thing that happened, you guys. You guys know this for the Britney Spears of it all. Let me change it. Let me put up the Britney in the corner. Britney update. Boop, 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 boop. We need music. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Britney
Yeah.
update.
It's Britney, bitch.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's Britney, bitch. We could put those two together, and that will be a Britney update, y'all. Britney posted. Was it this week, Abbie?
Yeah, it
I'm
was
gonna pull it up
just a couple days ago.
and
Yo,
tell everyone why I pull it up. What it was.
wild.
Britney posted, "I'm the key."
Yeah. It was after our Sunday episode because remember we had talked about you had
I
talked
can't
about
go on right
accepting prayer
Instagram
when
right
you were
now.
doing your Reiki thing and then I said, "Yeah, you opened up your heart chakra." And you're like, "I did." And then she talked about opening up your heart and then she said there was something else that was significant in there too. But the weird thing was I was having this conversation with Britney Pickle Spears and she had sent me something on Instagram and I hadn't even opened it. And I said to her, 40 minutes later, after she had sent that to me, and like I said, I hadn't even looked at it yet. I said something to her along the lines of, I feel like if we figure out the Britney Spears of it all, we'll understand everything. And she goes, and then all of a sudden I looked at my Instagram and I saw that she had said the same exact thing to me. Like, I feel like Britney's the key. And then I sent it to you. For some reason, I felt like it was for you too. And then, yeah, she said, am I the key? Or something like that. Like, maybe I'm the key.
Did she spell it out, or was it an emoji of a key?
Emoji.
like several keys. I texted it to you, a screenshot of it.
And the other thing, the Heart of Mary, she posted a lot. And she took down,
Anyways,
I
if
think-
you're new here, we sometimes talk about Britney Spears because we are obsessed with whatever the conspiracy is of her. Is she dead? Is she CGI? Are three people playing her? Has she been dead for years? Like the books written in committee, her texts are fake. She's putting up videos from like 2016 over and over and over again in Prairie Girl shirts, and she sold her house, but then the pictures always came from the inside of the old house. And when she talks, she always has all these different alters of like, hi, I have a little voice and I'm going to talk in a tiny voice. Or she's a British girl and she talk like this. Like she has these different personalities. And then not to the adrenochrome of it all. I can't say that word either. That's just as bad as Fauci, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
but how
she's KGB.
like they always said that
Russians back.
they took her blood all that time, and
Yeah.
she links to the Paris Hilton of it all and the Nikki Hilton of it all, the Rothschilds, the surreal party, everything we talked about earlier.
Kim Kardashian.
They were all at her wedding. Which creepy Drew Barrymore, Madonna, Donatella Versace. It's like the creepiest picture.
Even
So,
the
just to catch
Beyonce of it
everyone up.
all, because she thanked Beyonce in an awards ceremony, like what, 2016?
Gotta kiss
or-
that ring.
It looked forced
It's
though.
wild. Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
I
see
think
if I
most
can
of them
find
are.
that video. I think that is so interesting, Abbie.
She said, "Mystic temple and prophecies only felt by movement." And I was like, she's talking the Carlos Castaneda stuff or the OA stuff there. And revelations, because the opening of the heart is one of the world's most beautiful mysteries. Am I the key?
I'm in shock right now.
What is it?
Instagram muted a video, and I would never expect them to mute this fucking video of one of the
IG.
guys.
Someone's about to get on notice.
OIG. Go on.
You remember this fucking video?
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? They muted that?
They muted this fucking video. This is the guy, Seal 6. of
People
the
say
whole-
he was SEAL Team 6. Yeah, like he I know now I'm so nervous because we couldn't say Fauci, ouch. I'm nervous to say Adrena, the other word together. Like I'm like, oh, are
I
you even
posted
allowed?
this May 22, 2023.
And
they're
they came
muting
back?
it now.
Uh-oh. I wonder who's about to come in the news.
What the fuck? Save this video right now.
They're
Did
gonna
you guys-
find Osama bin Laden is still alive.
I can't believe I didn't screenshot it. She posted this weird stuff about her feet the other day.
That was just
And-
for Quentin Tarantino.
It was like 4 images of feet, and she had said all this weird stuff about feet, and I knew it was important. Maybe I did screenshot.
No joke, a Britney Spears Quentin Tarantino movie would get me to the theater.
I
Same.
feel like you know how he I heard a rumor that he has one more movie coming out, or maybe his last one was it. But it'd be rad if he had one more movie, and his whole gig is resurrecting careers. So
I think
Britney's-
he's gonna team up with Dan Schneider, and it's just gonna all be like ex-Disney kids and feet.
But you are so right.
Bynes, Yeah.
If Britney was like a John Travolta in whatever the Quentin Tarantino is, like whatever that like that character, it's not the main character. You know, Samuel L. Jackson's the main character, Bruce Willis is the main character. You have all these other subplot storylines going on. But I would love if one of the subplot storylines was Britney. And it doesn't
I hope
that would be the
Summer
coolest.
screenshot the feet thing. I hope she did, because I feel like that. I felt you guys needed to see that. I
Don't
can't
you
believe I
worry,
didn't.
that is on magic phone number 9, Abbie. And I
know.
screenshotted it twice, and then I recorded it on magic phone number 6 on number
Hallelujah.
9 because number 9 doesn't work in a storm.
Thank you, Summer.
I think I just got a download.
I hope that was.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was It was important. I'm telling
It
you.
was an important one for the, and this is another
The
thing that
Britney
Britney
comms.
Spears does that. So, okay, if the currency's attention, Britney's got mine. I can't help it. I want to know. Here's the other craziest thing she does. It's crazy and I can't figure it out. And there's got to be, she'll post a post and take it down 45 minutes later and post the exact same post again and leave it up for 2 days and take it down, and then you won't see it again for a period of time. And I feel like something about her pictures are almost like a grid. She tags certain accounts, like the miniature accounts that Abbie was talking about before. And I just feel like there's a language being spoken on all of this that we don't understand.
That's what was happening in my brain the other day before she said I'm the key. That's why I brought it up in conversation, was because I kind of got into the Bible codes recently, and like listening to them talk about how some of the Bible is coded and it's on purpose, like to hide certain words. Then I'm sitting there, that same day that was brought to my attention, I'd seen a video about Beyonce and Sia, because Sia's apparently like fallen off the face of the earth since 2016.
Well, she released that movie that was like really weird.
And well, apparently she didn't thank Beyonce in her speech, right? So she put out that weird tweet that said something like kangaroo something something bacon, and it didn't make sense. But when you circled the first letter of every word, it said Beyonce kidnapped me, and so
Yeah,
it's
this
like
is a real thing.
it is. And so I was like, okay, the fuck. So we know that there's something to Britney's comms. We'll call them comms, and we just need to like apply actual cryptography to this in some way. But when she takes them down all the time and you don't screenshot it, so you guys start screenshotting Britney's Instagram when you see her post, please, because if I don't get it, then somebody has to have it. It's important. She's the key.
You got to figure it all out. It's like the cicada, whatever the. It's like you got to figure out. Like, is Britney the OA? That's what we're asking. Somebody was saying that it's funny because Britney's a Sagittarius, and if you're also new here, Abbie and Britney share the same birthday, and we try to go on a lot around Britney's birthday time. Sometimes we'll call it out if we're on early enough on SSGG on Sunday nights. So anyways, so you guys you can prepare for Abbie's Sagittarius birthday coming up and make sure that you send her something nice. Noise.
Please, no dick pics.
Yeah, we won't bore anyone else with Britney. It feels like the same exact way as like talking about fights for too long. If you're not into the Britney rabbit hole, it might be a boring one to you, but I feel like it attaches in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm. It really does.
Well, just wait until the lodge meetings start.
Period.
And it is curious that Abbie brought up. I tried to find the video, but I don't know what to play that I don't want it to like tag the video somewhere weird. But that every single artist, or maybe I think one of you said it during this last few minutes, every single artist has to thank Beyonce on stage.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Well, that's why I was asking AI about Beyonce. And if she was a god, let's say it has nothing, like, let's say we're thinking too small with the Illuminati and she actually is a god, lowercase god, which one would she be? And so I was like, why don't I just ask AI this instead of just sitting there trying to do all the research myself?
Yeah, use it like a little personal assistant.
Yeah.
And this is, I assume, why Kanye interrupted Taylor Swift to give, Beyonce praise.
Yeah, it was to help her out, help little girl out, because she was what, like 14 or something at the time?
In a weird way, if we're playing out this God story, is Kanye like some form of Prometheus?
He calls himself God, right?
Yeah,
like,
Jesus, and then Beyonce, Beezus. In her song, she calls herself Beezus.
Beezus Bob. There's something there. Beyonce mixed with the fly.
I'm not kidding.
I don't quite know it.
Beyonce bub. Beyonce bub.
Beyonce bub. I think there's a word my mouth wants to say, like saying Peter Thiel.
Beelzebub? Beelzebub?
Yeah, but there's a way to mix that with Beyonce that makes like the perfect word. And
Beyonce Famet.
Beyonce Famet is fucking fire. That
Bees,
is
bees nuts.
this is another weird idea, not to make everybody get into a brainstorming session with, but I do feel like Thomas, very few of people in the truth or conspiracy esoteric realm that we hang out in and chit chat with could do this show, but you're somebody.
Whoa.
What happened?
I can't
We
hear
can't hear
Chaney.
you, Chaney. That was weird.
Magic.
We're just speaking way too much truth here.
Yeah, no, she just did. She completely went silent.
Yeah. It went click, cut off.
Wow.
What
We're
the
on to something,
fuck?
guys. Because we got into the coding of it all. We need to figure out the code. And now we have a whole team of people on it, I think.
Well, if we trace it back, we were
Fuck
linking
Beyonce.
Britney Spears to Carlos Castaneda to Beyonce being the one that rules all of this. And then we said Beyonce, and then bam, that was the last thing we heard.
Yeah. You're
Chaney?
still silent, Chaney. What the heck happened?
Bum, bum, bum.
What if? How dare you, whoever fucking helper of Bezos, go fuck yourself.
Kelly Green in the chat said, "Stop breaking the matrix, please."
Right.
There you go.
Back.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I know. I was going to say a spell and then I was going to tell Thomas the show he needs to do that very few people could do. And for whatever reason, I'm like the overlords. No, I'm going to say it like it's a time traveling thing. So then I'm like, don't battle me. Don't battle my energy right now.
Oh
I'm going
no,
to tell him
Jamie's
anyway.
handler got him.
So I feel like in a way of like skeptic tank, but you need, because every single whatever, anyone who's ever been on your show, they all have a conspiracy or something they don't believe in at all. And so I think kind of finding all of the facts that make people not believe in each conspiracy, where you're almost saying it as the skeptic, as the person on the other side, here's all the things. Because who does better research than the actual conspiracy theorist? It's the same as the flat earth thing. How come a flat earther can explain the globe better than anyone who believes in the globe?
Yeah.
It's because they do the research, so they have
Yeah.
legs under their thing. So I feel like a lot of the times a certain conspiracy theorist, true, I hate that, whatever word you want to pick for this genre, they the thing that they're black pilled on, whatever conspiracy it is, it's usually because they used to follow it and then
Yeah.
dissected it the most and we're like, holy shit, this is. And so I think those, it would be some kind of thing, but you would be a good host of that.
Yeah.
Well, most of my projects that I do deep dives on comes from me wanting to try and debunk it or debunk a debunk of something, because some of them just seem either so outlandish or the things that get debunked I feel like aren't thorough enough, and then I'm skeptical of like, why are you debunking this and not all the other things you can? So that's usually the launch point that I've got is trying to disprove something.
It's okay. So we
Yeah,
all know that
like
the
it.
element of the aether existed, but it's no longer on the chart. But we know in physics that in order for gases to be a thing, you need a solid fucking system. It has to be like in a planetarium, let's say, like when you create a planetarium and it's all encased in glass and it'll start creating life. That's how that system works. So like you don't necessarily believe in a flat earth, right, Thomas? You're like more into the whole space idea.
I mean, I would be as convinced in flat Earth as I would be in simulation theory. I feel like simulation theory makes more sense, or at least as much sense as flat Earth does. And I'm not cut off from simulation theory, so I
Okay.
don't cut myself off from flat Earth either.
Okay.
But I see like the globe point of view more of like a standard accepted way of describing math and geometry and distance with people. So for the convenience factor, I'm in favor, even if it's a lie, I'm in favor of the lie because of the convenience that it provides, as opposed to the flat earth, which doesn't really add any sort of convenience when talking about things like distance and travel and everything else.
That is very true. That is very true. But like the idea of like arguing these things and like the basic fact of physics, you can't argue that we won't exist without these gases, and without these gases you need to have a solid substance like structure to keep all that in. So that's the only thing that makes me believe that we are not on a per se globe spinning in the fucking distance that they tell us that we're spinning around the sun and yada yada. So it just does not add up with the whole idea of physics. So if you want to like, I don't know, that's the only thing that keeps me in that state of it could be some kind of structure.
There's something else too that comes up with like flat Earth versus like the globetards or whatever the various names are, and that you're absolutely right. Chaney said make a great point that so many flat earthers can break down the difference between heliocentric and like Earth centric different timelines and the people that propose certain things and all the experiments that have been done. They can actually cite way more of that than a typical person that just saying like no right.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
also at the same time like all of that information, it's the same premise. Usually someone that's always trying to disprove something, like Chaney was saying, they usually have a lot more of that context to kind of bring to the table with it. But it also proves the point that it's less convenient because you have to have all these different references versus how easy it to just say nuh-uh. Like nuh-uh is such a convincing argument. You don't have to exert any effort.
Yeah.
And usually it's such a like an easy win in public if somebody else is on the sidelines because they're just like, yeah, nuh-uh. And then all of a sudden everyone's saying nuh-uh. And you can't really argue against something like nuh-uh. Like nuh-uh is not an argument. So if you ever find yourself arguing against that, it's already a loss.
Yeah.
So
That's very-
Thomas, off topic. What's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Donatello.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Huh.
I'm a Raphael kind of girl.
Oh, I'm Michelangelo all day.
Really?
I guess you're Leonardo.
Yeah, I almost would expect Leonardo for Layla.
For me?
Yeah. Katanas.
Yeah.
No, Leonardo had the sword. He was the leader of the group.
Yeah, isn't that the katana?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then
Not
Raphael
katana.
had the size, Michelangelo. I like Donatello
Nunchucks.
because he was the computer nerd of the group. He was always like
He had the
inventing weird
staff.
robots and hacking into like Krang's underground lair.
I like that he was purple with the staff. I always thought Donatello had the best weapon.
Well,
always
if you ever
preferred
played
that.
the arcade game, he did have the best weapon. He had the longest range. Like you could
Yeah.
stay in the background and take all the bad guys out.
I just like I always like the grumpy characters. Like Oscar the Grouch was my favorite on Sesame Street, and so Raphael he's a little spicy, and I like it.
Yeah. Raphael. My brother was always Raphael.
That's what I was going to say. I want to be the rat because of the wisdom.
Oh, you're Master Splinter?
That's the Splinter.
That's what I was going to say.
You're
The guy
Master
said it.
Splinter.
He's wise individual.
Isn't it
rat.
curious with the Ninja Turtles of it all that it's all underground pizza?
Tunnel?
Yeah.
It's all
no,
based
don't
on
ruin this
Ninja.
for me.
Ra-
it's all underground pizza eaters. That's what the whole entire show is about. So it's just, and if you think about what the turtles, they could also be reptilians. So the entire show is just telling us about reptilians eating pizza underground.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what that chemical was in those canisters. They fed it
Oh,
into
yeah, the
like people,
ooze.
and all
It
of
was-
a
it
sudden
was
they're like
walnut
super
sauce.
raged.
Yeah, you're so right. There was the magic ooze.
Mm-hmm.
April
Ninja.
O'Neil's a redhead.
Ninja. Ra-
And then look at Kang or Krang or whatever the villain is that they go up
Shredder.
against. Oh wait, they go up against Master Shredder.
Well,
Yeah.
Shredder actually ends up taking like a side role to Krang. I think Krang ends up being the true superior entity because he controls this like the body that he's in, but he's kind of the mastermind of a lot, and he also operates in an interdimensional space where Shredder is still linked to like this regular world.
Shredder and the Hog and the pig, like all that stuff, they're linked to the regular world, and then he's the brain inside the body. I really thought when you were like, no, I was like, oh, maybe that's Bionic 6. Like I really was like immediately like maybe that is it because there's like this
Forgot.
couple of like there was a cartoon that would be like mama mask. There was like these few cartoons that all kind of had this like similar look and everything, and so I'm like maybe it was a different villain on a different show because it all seemed like the same premise. But the
Mhm.
weird part is it was just a brain inside a robot, like a floating brain inside a robot moving it.
How
All
many
they need is
shows
the
are
brain.
like that though? Because like Pinky and the Brain too, right? And then, I mean, there's a lot of shows with the. I forgot about the floating brain in Ninja
Floating
Turtles.
floating heads.
Yeah.
They just need that, really.
But then if we look at it that way, then Shredder and whatever that character's name was, would they really be the villains?
Mm. I don't know. They made Captain Hook a villain, and there's a whole story that Peter Pan is the pedophile, and Captain Hook grew up and actually wanted to kill Peter Pan for kidnapping him.
Right. Yeah, the Lost Boys are kidnapped by Peter
Yeah.
Pan for more nefarious reasons.
Yeah.
Mhm. Be a little boy forever so I can fuck you in the ass always.
Timestamp
I'm just
that.
saying.
And I was thinking about the skeptic question. If Thomas doesn't have time to do a whole nother show, we need that as a segment for the Wednesday night show. Like we need to think of good skeptic questions
Yeah.
for like that might be a good way for us to
What's
go.
what's an
instead of-
example of a good skeptic question?
I don't know, even that of like what's like the conspiracy that triggers you. Like it makes you like so annoyed that it's even there.
One of the ones that really kills me, but I don't know if it would be a skeptic question, but the whole if the adrenoderm substance comes from the pineal gland or if it becomes more potent through fear. Those ones are kind of like my biggest skeptical questions. Like what evidence, where did you first hear that fear increases the potency? And I can tell you why the reason you think that is because of Hunter S. Thompson's book and the popularization of it, and really no other specific sources.
For me, it's the Yulin Dog Festival. That's
That's a great.
why-
That's actually a really great response to that one.
That's immediately
Mine will
what
always be NASA.
What?
Forever.
I think with that, with along the same lines, though, I just think of animals that are killed in distress. The meat usually doesn't taste the same.
Like deer, like just one clean shot. But why at NASA, Layla?
Well, because I question it all. It's all fake. They're all Hollywood. It's Hollywood. It's production. Right? That's the question?
Oh, well, he was saying like about most people like that.
To me, they're a conspiracy.
Oh, that's your most triggering conspiracy. Oh, where you're
NASA.
like, no,
No,
no.
I don't want to hear it.
But that's like a conspiracy you like believe in. Like you believe that space is like all like NASA's fake and gay.
Yeah. 110% with all my soul and being.
But like what conspiracy do you think is fake and gay?
The whole blue marble moon where the map is all our maps. I think they're all off. I don't think
No, but
North-
that's the
Yeah.
reality.
Oh.
What can actual in our conspiracy realm?
Oh,
What conspiracy makes you fucking
okay.
like that's your like like what conspiracy fucking are you like that drags us backward? Or do you find that a lot of them that you look into it ends up being more true than not? Do you have any
piss,
that if they come
drinking
across your
pee?
algorithm, you're like, no, don't
Drinking-
even do this to me?
Drinking your pee. Cool if you do it. Cool if it heals you. Ill. I don't believe in it. It is triggering. It is not my
Fucking
cup of
touche, Layla.
not my cup of
Fucking
tea.
touche. You
I'm
fucking
sorry.
you fucking
Blech.
that was some Leonardo shit.
No. Enjoy your piss. In the hadith, they say it's okay to drink camel piss. Will I ever do it? Nah. Enjoy your camel piss, you hadith followers.
It's just
Uh,
okay, or do they like endorse it?
It-
Is there like
it's
do they promote it?
It's permissible. It's actually good for you. It's good for you. So good for you, says the Imam. believe and worship your imams in those beautiful costumes that they wear while they sit up there and look down on you and say, go ahead.
The most
Believe
triggering
'em.
for me is that if somebody has X amount of followers, then they're controlled opposition or military special ops or
You would take offense to that because you are the
yeah,
military special ops.
I
Yeah.
am.
The
but
military
it's so
special
annoying.
ops is so upset to be called
Well, listening to
military
that guy,
special ops.
actually, I was really honored to be called that. I was like, yes, people actually think that about me. But no, it was that freaking guy. Like everyone, he's calling it controlled ops, and I was like, it's anybody who has more followers than him.
I'm gonna just
So,
start
but all
calling
these
it
people are like,
Mad
you're
Lib.
right. Oh, he said it, so it's right. It's like, come on, people. Like, not everyone is controlled opposition.
We can make a little like online generator that just generates all of the conspiracies that come out of that person and people like them, where it's just like celebrity is blank. So then
Yeah.
it could just be like the last one can just be Antichrist, secret tranny, a Jew, like,
Shill.
and you could just
Yes.
still, and you could just mash that button
Ed.
and just automatically post to the Twitter, and
Psyop.
it would be indistinguishable from the actual Twitter feed.
That is so true. You could make a bot that just really, and I feel like you could take every conspiracy and put it in this bot, and then it would also generate pictures. So it would have like Jennifer Aniston with a dick standing at the pyramids with aliens behind her. And then it would be like,
not only is Jennifer Aniston a secret dude, but she's a secret dude, like shape-shifting reptilian from ancient Egypt that has like the cure for cancer.
yeah, like I think this is where we need to lean in. Like
I like that idea a lot.
I do too. I feel like because there is this whole engagement farming thing, and I wonder if it'll level out like we slay Hollywood, but there seems to be this new digital Hollywood that's coming up, and we all are heading to a platform that essentially is an everything app. So it's like all your commerce will be there and your news will be there, and it'll be like a town square.
This is like AOL. That's how AOL used to
Yeah,
work.
ASL. I think there could be a whole nother one just called ASL where it was as simple as going into a chat room back when. It's like all the apps have all been added together. That's pretty much what's going on. But do you also hear the hullabaloo about and it seems to be a joke, but nothing's a joke anymore. And then Elon reposted it and said like the most entertaining outcome will usually be
I saw that.
and so he's talking about like it's all the murmurings of buying MSNBC because it's gone bankrupt. So they're like, Elon, you should buy this. Elon, you should buy this. Elon, you should buy this. And then he's like, most entertaining outcome. So
It's
then
it's like Occam's razor, but for humor. But also, this is the rule that Roger Rabbit establishes and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This is like one of the deepest decodes I think I've ever done because it fascinated me so much. Because there's a scene where he gets handcuffed to Eddie, and they're doing all these things that they're trying to do to like saw it off and knock it off, and they can't make noise because the weasels are coming looking after them. And then at some point, Roger Rabbit just slips his hand out of the handcuffs, and Eddie looks at him like, "Are you kidding me? You could have done that at any point." And Roger Rabbit's like, "Not any point, only when it was the funniest moment." And it almost described like that's the difference between the human reality and Roger Rabbit's reality, is that he wasn't making a joke. That wasn't a punchline. He was describing the actual like physical universe, and the rules that his world abides by is that things can only happen when they're funny. And that's kind of what like Elon Musk is sort of living in a cartoon world.
Oh,
well,
he's
it
like
is.
a judge. He's a tune.
Yeah,
And well, it's like in a way of like the Roger Rabbit, yeah, like it's his whole own world, his whole own creation, and then he's like this. He's becoming a zeitgeist of his own around all the digital currency. So it's like if he puts out anything, that's what makes it go viral, and then everybody keeps thinking it's all these trends. Yeah, there's trends that are coming off TikTok. There's trends that are coming off Facebook. There's trends that are coming out of the media. Stuff happens every day, and those things run too. But it's when Elon posts about that thing that makes it like boom.
Well, it's his platform, so it's almost the equivalent of like giving yourself a dad's like world's best dad mug and then being like, look at that, the world has spoken. And it's like, dude, you bought it for yourself.
Yeah. Everyone, you got that for yourself on Boss's Day.
Yeah.
What kind of asshole made Boss's Day? What kind of kiss ass
What
made
day is not
Boss's
Boss's Day?
Oh shit. But I know it's just curious. What, Layla? Oh, I
I'm just
thought
looking
you.
at the stocks and just like, just sometimes just like, oh yes, it feels so good.
I know everything's going crazy if you are somebody that takes part in any of the cryptocurrencies. I think they've all hit a record high this week.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I think all the big ones hit a record high this week.
Not XRP yet. I think XRP is almost at its record where it was 176, I think was their highest. It didn't reach that yet. But
Okay.
Ethereum Classic is going up, Doge, VeChain, Stellar, all these I invested. I think even Shiba Inu,
yeah.
all of them. I'm just
I
like,
just thought that one.
yeah,
And what this really means is that faith in government-backed currencies is at an all-time
I'm
low.
playing the game. I'm not gonna cry this time. Like, oh, I should have invested in Bitcoin. No, I'm not passing this opportunity. I'm gonna invest. I will be a slave to that part. I don't care. Judge me. But I'll be like living lavishly in
Everything
peace
else
and helping
too.
people, you know?
Everything else too. Everything else, and then what's the harm? Diversify
Yeah.
your assets.
I deserve it. We all deserve it. Why not? Like they're all doing it. Like, why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you be able to take part of the money that they want for themselves? They want it all for themselves. Why not participate so you can grab some of that for yourself, for your family, your future generations? Do you want them to like work their asses off? Imagine the future of your children. Do you want them to work their asses off? Like, imagine how hard it's going to be in the future. A little investment, $20 here, can turn into 2,000 in like a couple minutes. That's what I'm talking about. It's like being smart, learning the game, playing it right. Yeah, it's government money, but we're in this fucking simulation. Let's play it. You
Well, a
got
lot of the times too, it's probably your money. It's probably all the money that they siphoned out of you and your ancestors and this thing called taxes, which is illegal as fuck that they've been doing forever. And then it's like all goes to war and interest to print more money and inflation to print more money and just to make guns over here so that this country who's also in debt and needs more money printed and then has the same thing printing their money, setting their interest rates, buying more guns for them to go to war against the country next door. And it's all the same bankers paying for the same wars.
Yeah, and it's not just to buy nice things. It's like we work our asses off. And for what? For chump change? We're like all this talent, all this energy, all this time. Time is money. I'd rather put my time in this, my energy in this, and make triple, quadruple, 10 times, 15 times what I can make in like 5 years. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to pass that opportunity up ever again. Ever again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's how I'm like, gamble with what you can afford to lose. And
Yeah.
if you're playing with free money if you do it right. And then, I don't know.
It hurts just as much to lose free money as it does to lose not free money.
It does.
It does. And well, you know what else too that I will say about the keys to all these things and your wallets and all that stuff is we were talking about it today before we went on air is the crypto of yesteryear that we've all had in wallets we can't get into. And so that stuff is so crazy because you're like, oh, I'll get to it later. Or where am I going to put this? Or let me just screenshot it. And then you lose your phone or the power goes out on your phone or it gets ran over and you only had that one picture that you didn't save. It didn't download and you can't get into this wallet now that had your one Bitcoin.
Right. And you can't even hire a lawyer to take care of that for you, even if you had the resources to do so. Unlike the other more developed sort of ways that people invest or put their money away. So, but that's also just a part of being at the literal bleeding edge of something. I think it's still less than 1% of people that even engage in crypto markets directly, at least.
Talking about.
That's where it's like even the market caps on all the things that it like just the trajectory of how it's going with what they anticipate and how little of the world's resources are going to be on it. But eventually, it's to me, and other people disagree, but I just think it's all about energy. If I have to walk over to Layla's bank or get a horse to take it to Layla's bank or get, this person to trade it to that person. And then now everyone talking about Bitcoin, that's less energy than the old computer systems that were passing money and transaction back and forth between the banks. But then if you get into these other coins like XRP, and that becomes even less energy that it's using. And so then it's just like this energy game that the numbers are still moving. It's like, why do the numbers have to move? What are all these transactions? Paying attention in transactions. It's just attention in transactions.
I can't help but look at it. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, I can't look at it anymore because you have that urge to just like, let me just pull a couple out, but no, it's good. It's gonna go up and up and up. In January, what's his name? That guy stepping down, and the new SEC person comes into play, baby.
One of the better suggestions that I remember from back when I was like mining all the time, I had like rigs and everything, but and I don't think it's ever really steered anyone too wrong, but don't forget to pay yourself. That was one of the mantras that he would put out, and meaning that every time it explodes and you're like, oh, I've got so much, there's unless you just have so much extra laying around, but there's not a reason to not just take out like 5% of what you got, just to enjoy some of the actual benefits of that, because any moment you could wake up the next morning and see that it's all gone, and then it's like it wouldn't have mattered that extra little bit that you took out. So I don't know, that was always a good, and this isn't an investment thing, this was more of like a maintain mental sanity thing. Remind yourself that it's not some abstract number, that it's all about like materializing your actual gains in there and have something to show for it. So
yeah, you're right. But honestly, the amount that I invested is like nothing. Like it's really like nothing. It's not going to hurt us, break us. That's what you have to be aware of, people. Like invest what you can, not what you can't, what you can. Take a couple hundred, put here, there. That's it. Don't be putting like $10,000 and that's your entire life savings and like, boom, gone. Don't do that.
if you got $10,000 to just be dropping like that, you should go to paranoidamerican.com and buy a bunch
There
of
you go.
comics. And then
Yes,
support
I agree.
the Illuminati comic. So if you got that kind of dough, then you can really contribute more to society.
Yeah, and
or
they're gonna be
keep
worth
doing
millions
those
later.
smart decisions, those smart trades, and then you can back the Paranoid American animated series that will eventually have clips out of all of his comics that he's ever done. It'll just be like what is that? Liquid Television on MTV, but it'll all just be Paranoid American original shit.
For real.
I mean, yeah, if I still had all the Bitcoin that's gone through my hands, then that would already be in the works.
Well, I'm just saying, because of just what I energetically and what I've been around of recent, like what Layla's saying is true, where you can go to sleep with $1,000 in your digital wallet and wake up a millionaire. Just the same way, what Thomas is saying is true. If you don't pull that out and make it something in reality, you can go to bed a millionaire and wake up with a cent in your wallet.
Yeah. And
Like,
it'll hurt.
Yeah, you'll be like, let me wash the dishes real quick. And before you are done washing the dishes, you're like, like you were washing the dishes with plans. You were like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pay off my car.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna da 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 da.
Yeah.
Well,
and
this
also,
is the same thing with the GameStop thing. There was a really good movie that dramatized it, and I know it like oversimplified it, but it showed this exact dynamic where there were some people, when the GameStop stock originally like exploded, they were millionaires overnight. The first time in their entire lives they had enough money in their bank account to pay all their bills and everything and have a lot more left over. But for a lot of those people, it was the first time they had ever gone through that kind of experience. So they were like, well, if I got this much now, imagine how much I could get if I just keep holding on to it. And then it starts tanking. And then there's like this sunken cost where it's like, well, I'm down so low now, I can't possibly pull out, even though they were so far ahead. And they did like a follow-up years later. And there were people that could have been, you know, like 20, 30 plus millionaires that held, and it went back down to like, you know, 60 grand or something.
Did y'all see this video of this fucking moron? He somehow hacked into a Bitcoin account and stole $23 million out of this man's account, and he's broadcasting this and streaming it like fucking idiot. Streaming. And I mean, but he did the Robin Hood thing and started like buying people shit, buying people, like going on a shopping spree and buying everyone a Hermes bag in the fucking store. Like he went broadcasting this shit, but eventually got caught because like how stupid could you be? You hack in someone's Bitcoin account, broadcast it, and spend the money like you're not going to get caught.
I wonder what they can even do in that case, though. If someone knowingly uses stolen Bitcoin, buys you a whole bunch of, you know, gifts or whatever, it's not like there's a bank that can reverse the fees, and there's not.
Yeah, it's
like,
not a credit card back.
It would be weird. Like, how do you actually resolve that?
I have no idea. I didn't look into it, but it's a real fucking thing. I was like, oh, my brother showed it to me. I was like,
how much Bitcoin for real do you think is just lost?
A lot.
Oh my gosh. We were talking about wallets you can't get into, or people that pass away, you know, phones that go missing. But I've also heard rumors that certain countries, because of like the utility that some of these coins are already becoming, certain countries are talking about doing in a quantum way or on a computer system, almost a digital Fort Knox, where certain countries will be investing in certain coins and almost like, you know, vesting it. Like it'll, you know, like the United States will come in and just buy 2% of Bitcoin. And so that way the market can't ever be controlled in a mass way or get rugged because it's too big. So like whoever the creator of Bitcoin is, can't just decide I've been waiting for it to get to the number 128 and now I rug it.
Yeah, no, they're not allowed to do that.
Well, the original Satoshi wallet is like rumored to have over 1 million Bitcoin in it, and it's never been touched. So like if that's an actual wallet that someone actually has access to, then yeah, you could wait until it gets so big that it would be more than like the economy of large superpowers.
My ex-boss is a fucking multimillionaire now because of that. And he was the one who told me to buy into it. And I was so ready, and everyone's around me like, why are you gonna the crypto? Look at the name. It just sounds like awful, like the crypt, you know? And that's what people were saying back in the day. It's like you're buying nothing. It's all a joke. So I didn't buy it. And I had $200 ready. And he bought, I don't know how many shares, but he bought a lot of shares at that time. And it was like nothing. Maybe $200 worth, $500 worth, but he bought more than that. And he's a multimillionaire now. Maybe near a bill.
We'll see if he wants to invest in some IlluminatiComic.com.
Oh, man.
IlluminatiComic.com. Yeah. Anyways, do we have anything else to talk about, discuss this evening? Anything to plug?
Not really.
We are going to try on
I'm
Sunday.
not going to be here Sunday.
Yeah, you're not going to be here Sunday. Abbie and I are going to attempt on Sunday, and we're going to record it, but we're going to do it live with you guys, and then we might take what we record with you guys and like edit it out as well. But it'll be streamed on Abbie's channel and here, all the places on X and stuff as well. But she's going to give us an instruction, and we're going to try to film the Medici. So
Oh, I'm missing that.
if you guys are
Not gonna
into
miss it. You'll see
you
it.
won't miss it. It'll all be recorded and everything. So if you're into if you've heard of it, or if you're into the Patience of the Medici at all, or if you've heard Abbie talk about it here in other places, it will be it looks almost like solitaire. Do you want to give an elevator speech on it? What's the Patience of the Medici?
If you've ever played accordion solitaire, it's similar to that. Accordion solitaire, I would say, is the red lady in the red dress. It's a distraction. It's not the real thing, but it's a way of folding cards, and it gives you, when you get it to fold correctly and you win the game, it gives you an algorithm that you can plug into reality to manifest, more or less. So and there's many applications for it, but when you do it, it really breaks your brain, because you realize, okay, if I can plug a cheat code, like if I'm plugging in a code, like up, up, down, down, left, right, you know, and it works, what does it really say about reality? And because when you see it work, and it's something that'll be wild, that you think is almost impossible.
And like already right at the beginning, for people that think it's like, oh, it's woo woo, no one ever does that. Who's doing that? Like it's just solitaire. What would be like a famous example, or people that did this in life that
Maria de Medici, that's who it's named after. She did it 3 times in her life. I think one of the things that she manifested was her wedding. Um, but it really should have been named after Queen Mary Stuart, because Mary Stuart was taught by John Dee, who is the court astrologer, right? How to do this, and she had folded it a couple times in her life, and she was rusty. She asked for a deck of cards before her execution, so she spent the whole night before her execution trying to get it to fold so she could save herself. But when they came to get her, she said, damn, if I just would have had a little bit more time, I almost had it. And I feel like that's why her execution went wrong.
yeah, she's Bloody Mary. So that's so crazy. I don't know. What do you think, Thomas, the skeptic of it all with the Medici?
I actually really believe in pattern recognition, and I think that I always talk about how limited our like eyesight is, and that I think applies to all our senses. So it wouldn't surprise me that if someone did find some underlying way to recognize like real patterns, that I mean, it would look like prophecy or divination or telling the future, but really it's not a whole lot
Or
different
magic.
than having AI detect patterns, because it's going through like billions and billions of different sequences to find those. Like we can't really keep billions in mind, but when someone does find something that works, it might take a millennia or at least a few centuries to develop. So I don't know. I think that humans are just a much slower version of these AI models that they train.
Well, there's another theory that everything is super fast because we live in this like simulation, and everything is code, and everything is so fast that instead of our brains being an accelerator, it is a de-accelerator, and our vision and our brains kind of slow everything down into a slower form for us to create it into our existence per se. So there's this whole other theory that everything is what you said, and then this side of it where our brain is actually slowing things down because everything is moving in such a rapid pace, like to keep a form and a high vibration. So we in turn have to like slow things down to like actually perceive it.
Huh. Like almost
Mhm.
like seeing like the circle of the fan blade, because
Yeah.
our brain can't see each separate blade.
Yeah.
Like we just have to, our brains are like, fuck trying to look for each separate blade. I'm just making a circle.
Yeah. It's like
That's
that idea. When I heard that, I was like, wow, that is so fucking profound.
And that's what this is doing, though, really, because it's the not the magic. The trick isn't in folding the cards. The trick is each card represents an event, and you have to observe it. So you're actually slowing down time, and it's
Yeah.
keeping your attention like super focused, so you know what to look for. So you know the next link in your chain the
Dude,
next
yeah.
spider bit. So it's slowing it down. It just like it really is doing that. It's instead of looking at the fan swirling, you're looking at the blades.
When you
And
think
what
about it,
Thomas
yeah.
was saying earlier, even about how like when you're about to be in a car accident, your brain's like looking for those details, so it's the perception that time's getting slow. But what if it's not the perception? It's like you actually, we always talk about being intentional and being present in the moment and yada yada yada, but what actually is the moment? Is it now? Is it now? Is
Mm,
it now? And so it's like in the fragment of it all, if it's now, no, and you just keep getting smaller. If you could actually be aware of
Of
the
each of the little
present
nows.
moment, each of the little fragments in between, would it
comes
be
up.
possible for you to like slow
The
down?
nanoseconds.
Yeah. Like you almost get quantum on top of the program. So if we if people that talk simulation theory, it's like if the program was happening around you, all of a sudden you just hit some kind of weird cheat code where you're like, oh, like your supercomputer's downloading way more data than
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
being
You're
given.
so right, because they constantly want us to scroll, 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 instead of us sitting in our room, in our caves, in our space, in our books, and just writing down our fucking thoughts and actually going into that flow state and capturing the frequency that we need to capture at that moment. That prevents us from doing that. So it's like they pull us away from that. And that is more you, like you said, being aware, slowing down time with your awareness. And that's us, our brain slowing down the molecules of it all, the energy of it all.
That would be like breath too, like where you start to control your breath. And then when you get into like a meditative state or even probably a heavy state of prayer, you can probably hear your own heartbeat, or you start to hear the like essence of being just you inside your own shell. And maybe
Yeah.
sometimes just being aware of your tiny shell, it's like gives you this sense of awareness of like, oh, am I my thoughts? Am I this body? Am I this heart that's beating? Am I like all the others? I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
There's some interesting theories that wasn't even something that people did until a couple thousand years ago. That even the concept of I and ego might not have existed for a lot of people. That it was something that developed recently.
Huh. Like Abbie always says in the Bible, it talks about like I am.
Yeah. That's a
But that's
she's a
the God I, not like the individual reading it I.
Oh,
what
not
that I
that.
am?
I believe so, right? Like the I am, that's talking about like
God.
God is saying I am.
Yeah, but then they asked Jesus, like, so you're saying you're the Messiah, huh? And he said, I am. And he wasn't saying I am as an answer. He called himself. They said, who do you think you are? And he said, I am. So he called himself I am as well. But really, and then, he does say in the Bible, I am my Father are one. Well, he's also pointing to the fact that you and the Father are one. So I am is you as well. Like you are also I am. Anything
Well,
that you put after
one of
those words is what you create in your reality, because it's what you believe. Like if I'm a piece of shit, then I believe that, and that's how I act, and that's how, I continue to freaking get that reflected in my
I
reality.
am.
But if I believe I'm a badass bitch, I'm gonna be a badass bitch.
I love you, real. Ryan's awesome. Yeah, I'll take you out to dinner. Don't worry. I'm taking you all out to dinner. Just let
Ryan's
me
coming
get
to visit Florida.
Isn't he moving there?
He's looking to move. I don't want to
Just a
blow
summer
up his
house. Just a
I don't want
summer
to
or
blow up
winter
his
home.
spot since he's a shill handler. I don't want to give too much information away, but yeah, so for the Florida peeps out there, you can reach out to Ryan and hang out or something. Do that sort of thing. What is it?
No, I'm just looking at
Oh,
it.
you're
Very,
looking at yeah,
yeah,
you
it's
can't
just
even.
beautiful. I love it. I love it so much.
I know. You know what? It does make me nervous. And this is, I will shout out to Donut because everybody in the whole conspiracy realm, and this is what I've just noticed over the years, the people that if you're authentic in it, you end up with your own viewpoint of, like, we talk about angles and dimensions, like angels and demons. You end up with your own angle at it. And what I realize is, like, whatever the people's angles of whatever they're passionate about usually gives me a new filter, whether I agree with them or not necessarily on their whole entire concept. This is why I think it's like such a big thing that, like, everybody's so busy dissecting everyone. Start getting into ideas and stop getting into the smallness of picking apart people, because your idol, your person, is inevitably, they're gonna trip up or make a mistake one day or do something you disagree with, but it doesn't make every idea they've ever had something that's bad. So get into ideas. But shout out to Donut, because one of the filters he added to my conspiracy brain is I now have the 128 filter, where I see, like, the pattern of 128 in places. And sometimes watching these stocks on the small and knowing them on the big and seeing things happen where it's like, all the banks go down and then they have to have a way to come bail out. So it's like this way they're allowed to take money, or, oh, we all get locked down. Oh, then there has to be these bailouts or ways to take money. I almost think there has to be this crypto rug pull so that somewhere there's like a regulation on it for the government to be like, somewhere they're going to do a thing to try to get control of a thing, because they don't like this decentralized
Ethereum.
system.
Fuck Ethereum, even though I have it. Fuck them. They're the
What is
problem.
that? Tell me what about it. Tell me the
Ethereum
heat.
is what is holding XRP back. Okay, Ethereum is part of like this Rothschild push against XRP, and they're the ones who there's a long history. That's the ones who are like bringing the cases against XRP and all that. So now XRP is going after all the people who are trying to go after them. So it's like a fight between them two.
But didn't
But
XRP just win whatever case of this week?
Yeah.
Like they won a big case.
they did. They did. So it's just like a teeter-totter with XRP and Ethereum. XRP, Ethereum. But that's what Ethereum is. It's
Here's
a
another
Rothschild
weird question I have.
thing.
Do you think, in a weird way with crypto, do you think that Bitcoin will always be the gold standard? Or do you think there, like, one of the other cryptos will become like the market basis?
They call that the flippening. That's the dream of every other altcoin other than Bitcoin, is they all dream of what's called the flippening. The flippening is when a coin becomes more valuable than Bitcoin does.
Yeah. And
I don't
I
know if
want to
that's true, if
believe
that'll happen though. I mean, it would almost be like saying, do you think that RC Cola or Pepsi will ever beat out Coca-Cola? Maybe, but they've got like the hearts and minds. They've won the culture war at such a and become, like what I was saying, like less than 1% of people I think have interacted with Bitcoin directly. Well, that's the metric. If you apply that to any other thing, now all of a sudden that number drops down severely. So once the normies buy into something, it doesn't even matter if there's a better alternative. See VHS, Betamax. It's like once the market has decided on a thing, it kind of tends to go all in, and that's what gives it the value.
So you
They could
even call
decide
other
on a
crypto
thing.
Bitcoin. You're like, oh, are you playing with your Bitcoin over there? Like you tell everyone in a restaurant, can I just get a Coke? Like you don't care what the soda is, you just call everything Coke.
Right.
Like
Well, I think that Bitcoin doesn't have the technology to keep it where it needs to be, the security where it needs to be. I think it's just a test run for a coin. I'm not sure which coin. I would love it to be XRP. Is it XRP? No. Would I like to believe that there will be a flip? Yes, for my benefit. Is it going to happen? I don't know. That's something I dream about. That would be lovely, but I don't know. It's too popular, too many holders, big money. But it could be a possibility because they don't have the technology to keep it where it needs to be, like a worldwide crypto, a worldwide currency. That's what they're trying to push for, which it's going to happen. Which coin will that be? I can't see it being Bitcoin because it's just too expensive. Like who the fuck, a worldwide currency to be that, It
Do you
just
think
makes
there would be like an operation for real? Like if let's say we're in a race because we know if there's this one currency. Oh my, I thought Abbie was about to sneeze.
yeah, me
That
too.
was a big yawn.
I was like, shut up. I was like, that's
I
5G.
wish I
5G
liked
warfare.
sneezing.
I don't mind sneezing, but it's like, I don't know. What do I look like sneezing on camera? Tag.
Oh, right. I don't want
Make
to
sure you timestamp it. I'll put it in the next intro. I don't even know. Anyways, we went past talking about crypto. I just think it's also fucking curious.
I keep bringing it up. Sorry, guys.
No, I don't mind talking about it at the end
Or
or
the chat.
anytime during the show. It is like this new world currency we're moving in. Oh, I was going to ask you if there was like one currency to own them all of like Bitcoin, is it almost really important as much as everybody hates shitcoining? Is it almost really important because it's all decentralization of the main currency that always has been? Like it's just like a slow dissection of all the wealth into all these other things instead of all being just in a Rothschild banking system.
Yeah, it's like they don't like it because
Oh
that
my
money.
gosh. It's all the Rothschild banking system. It's all that's the
gonna say.
pyramid. That's the eye at the top. All the
But
currency. One currency to rule them all.
technically, it's like we're taking money from them by doing
Tenet.
the shit coin. You know, they want that for their coins, the XRP, the Bitcoin, the this, the that. But these shit coins that we are making, big boys are actually starting to come in because they see, boom, quick, easy money. Boom, quick, easy money. I want a part of that too. You
I
guys
feel
don't
like
want to
that
play
could be
there?
part of the trap, though. Is that like to get everyone sold on this now fully traceable, like cryptocurrency? Then now you got to make some normies rich. So now that they're invested in this system, because if they're not invested, well, now they go back to what the fiat world where they weren't rich. So if you get enough people that are fully bought into this, then you can usher in the concept of like, okay, this is money now. This is how it all works. And then I also think that at a certain point, not everyone is gonna be as like technically capable. Like we were joking before, like how easy it is for people to lose their passwords. Or like my parents will call me up and ask me for like the password of their Wi-Fi router or something, right? Like how could you possibly make sure that you keep all of your secret? So at a certain point, they're gonna have to have businesses that operate exactly like a traditional bank would, except they just do all the crypto stuff for you. And there's also a chance if Bitcoin does hit like 1 million or whatever, maybe a normal person can't even afford a single Satoshi. So now you're going to have to break a Satoshi, the smallest unit of measurement in Bitcoin, down into like micro Satoshis. And then for the people that end up losing it or can't remember their passwords or anything, they might have like their micro Satoshis printed out on little paper coupons so that they have an easier way to, and all you're going to do is just end up taking what used to be backed by gold and then turned out to be backed by nothing. Well, now it's going to be backed by Bitcoin, and then eventually that will be also backed by nothing. So it feels like it's just a constant circle, but the only thing that really changed is now there's not actually anything physical that anyone even expects to be at the end of like the paper trail.
So if we're looping, but we're spiraling, whether it's the question is it an upward or a downward spiral?
Yes.
I am.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys don't have anything else to plug, Abbie, thank you for going into Medici a little longer. It's always fascinating. Everybody that hung out tonight, thank you guys for hanging out. Make sure you like and subscribe to everybody on the stage and find them all on X and on IG. Yeah, thanks for getting weird with us.
Love you guys.
We will see you guys
Fucking bomb tonight.
very soon.
Love
Okay.
you.
Nice.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew
is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.